Hello, nakaligo na ang lola. So, ayan, isasama ko kayo sa meeting namin ha, so that we will all learn how busy we are as school heads, supervisors, and everything. Every one of you na would be interested in knowing the planning, the topic being presented in the school, 'di ba? Para matuto tayo. So, it's a learning experience for all of us. So, kami rin kasi will also be updated anong mga kailangan namin gawin para sa school. Teka muna. Ang lola hindi pa nakasuklay. Busy po eh. Pasensya na po very busy po. So, ihaharap ko lang sa inyo yung camera nito para maka-attend tayo. Sino ba itong pangalan nito? Maka-attend tayo ng meeting. So, hello. Tatlong hello na yan, tatlong L na yan Join me. Wala siya. Ito. Fourth Management Committee meeting. Fourth na pala to. Fourth pa lang ba to? Parang tagal-tagal na, parang dami-dami na. Pang fourth pa lang ba yan? Join me in the meeting ha. So we learn. So we learn a lot. Microsoft Teams. Connect na ba tayo? Uy, hello! Ulysses, sandali. Teka, join the meeting. Attend tayo na meeting. Hindi pa pala kita napupuntahan. Magpa-add pa ako ng GCash. Naubusan ako ng GCash. Teka lang. Hindi ko pa napaano sa'yo yung super thanks ko kasi nagpapaano pa ako ng GCash. Kailangan madagdagan pa yung aking pondo sa GCash. Bati lang muna ako dito. Ayun, hindi pa siya nag-umpisa. Hindi pa nag-umpisa yung meeting. Napaka-iksi pala. Iksi lang yung video. Wala pa, hindi pa nag-start yung meeting namin. Kasi it's 8:47 pa lang. Musta Ulysses? So, habang hindi pa nag-start yung meeting, i-ano ko lang to, i-set up ko lang to para malinaw sa lahat. Set up ko lang tong para maririnig dyan. So, hindi nyo siya makikita, maririnig nyo lang yung mga usapan. So, just the voice. Ayan. Tapos, saan ko lalagay ito? Ayun. Ay. Daming para pernalya na maliit na table. Mahirap kasi pag maliit ang table. Maraming paraphernalia. So ito muna, pwede naman akong umalis muna dito. Maaga pa eh, 8:47 pa lang ba? Oo, masyado ako maaga. Pwede siguro umalis muna dito. Para hindi ano, pero maganda na rin pala yan para malakas na. Sandali lang po. Sino yan? Jet, ikaw ba? Uy, Lance. Ayun, nandito na uli si Michelle. Tamsak ulit, boss. Okay, okay. Thank you. Ayan, nandiyan na sila. Ayan, meron kaming meeting ngayon. Kaya kailangan ko lang talagang naligo ng mabilisan. Grabe, no? Mabilisan maligo talaga. Huwag niyo ako sabayan, ha? May management committee meeting kami ngayon, ha? Baka humina yung aking connection dito. So, ayan. Walang pasok host. Meron, naka-online kami ngayon. Meron kaming meeting. Meeting online. Meeting. Yung meeting kamo, ano ko dito. I-record ko dito para matandaan ko yung mga pinag-usapan. Kasi minsan, sa sobra ng haba ng meeting, di ko na matandaan. Ayan, si Michelle Agrisola and Lance Bontogon. Time to connect again. Alam ko magkadikit na kayo before pa. Pero siguro nga, sa dami ng kaibigan natin, limbawa may 5,000 kang kaibigan, hindi mo talaga mapapasyalan lagi. So pag makikita mo siya sa isang live stream, that's the time na mag-connect uli. Ganon ang ginagawa natin, ha, mga guys. So ito po, susunod ko dito yung meeting namin. Kasi minsan sobrang haba, 8 oras na meeting. Ayun, hindi ko natatandaan kung ano yung mga sinasabi sa sobrang haba. So, tinitingnan ko dito, makikita ko yung meeting, kung ano yung mga napag-uusapan. Nire-record ko po. So, ganun po yung strategy ko ngayon habang naka-live stream tayo, makikita ninyo yung natin, yung usapan natin, naririnig nyo rin yung usapan doon sa namin, sa meeting namin. Oo nga, silip-silip na lang tayo kay Whitey World kasi busy nga tayo. Ayan. Good morning, mga sulat-sulat pa dito. Okay. Tapos, ako nag-stop kay Whitey, kaka-active lang ulit. Ba't ka naman nag-stop? Huwag tayong mag-stop. Saya-saya nga eh. Kapag nahihirapan, take it as a challenge. Sabi ng mister ko, ano ba yan? Ang lalaki ng tagyawat mo. Maulan pa rin host dito, dyan sa inyo wala na ba? Hindi, maulan pa rin. Maulan pa rin dito. Okay, asa na ba yun? Anyway, ang style nito kasi kami naman, hindi naman kami hindi kami naka-microphone pag nandun. So, wala kaming microphone doon. Ayan, so maririnig nyo na yung napag-uusapan dyan. mababalitaan nyo, ay ganun pala ginagawa sa school, dami palang ginagawa. Akala lang ninyo, puro module-module lang, hindi po, nako, sobra-sobra po sa daming ginagawa. Maulan pa rin host dito, Jasem. Anak ko, maulan pa rin. Maulan din po. Ba't parang hina? Ang hina nung sound dun. Oo nga, nakakapagod na nga rin po eh. Ako rin po, na ano rin po ako, pero ano, ayan, puro tagyawat, pero hindi ako titigil. Parang nanliligaw ka lang, di ba? Pag nanliligaw ka ba, napapagod ka. Pag mahal mo yun, di ba? Sinatyaga mo siya hanggang sagutin ka niya. Ay, yahoo! May hugot ang lola. O, di ba? Sa pag-aaral ninyo. Ganon din sa pag-aaral. Commercial pa to ah. Commercial pa yung ginagawa dun. Dito ko na lang kaya bubuksan para makita pala. Mahina pag doon. Hindi na ano. Mahina dun. Ayan, dito ko bubuksan para malakas. Da 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 da. Yun. Dito marami. Mas nakakaano pala ako to. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Morning po.
Morning.
Pwede ba, ma'am, isang store na lang? Kay Bidlove na lang po tayo?
Opo, mas maganda nga pag isa lang eh.
Sige, ma'am. Send ko po lahat yung nandito sa APR. Itinatype ko na po yung PO eh.
Wala bang available sa DBM?
Wala, ma'am.
Dilagay na natin lahat kay Bidlab. Tapos, ayun nga, sinasuggest ko nga na bumili tayo ng grass cutter. May nakuha tayong pera kay Gob na 7,000 pero yung 1,000 ginamit sa gasolina papuntang Malolos, gasolina, toll gate, saka yung pagkain ng lumakad. Kaya binawasan niya ng 1,000. Yung 7,000 naging 6,000 na lang. So, kung maitatago natin yung iba doon, 6,000 makakabili tayo ng grass cutter kasi ang dami ng damo doon sa school.
Opo.
Okay, sige. Text lang tayo.
Opo, send ko na lang po ito ngayon, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Bye, ma.
Bye-bye po.
Okay. So, ayun. Tumawag sa akin yung mga order namin. Kahit nasa bahay, ano pa rin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung mga transaksyones po kasi ngayon karamihan ng transaksyones ngayon, online. So, yun lang, kailangan mo lang talaga ng para kang call center, nakababad ka sa computer, tapos lahat ng mga balita, pati mga meeting, nandito na lahat, sama-sama na lahat ayan, sama-sama na po lahat dito sa ating computer, ang dami. So, sinasabay-sabay ko na rin lahat. Ayan, join. Pero naka-join na ako doon. Kaya lang mas malakas kasi pag dito eh. Mas maganda dito, malakas yung sound po eh. Kaya dito ako magjo-join. Start na kaya? Ayun na lang. Ito, mas malakas ang andito. Mag-start na. So, dapat pala, ito yung naka-camera. Pero nandito na siya kasi. So, hindi ko na makakamera siya. Daily Life, my friend, good evening to you. Uy, mahal na gasoline, 1K talaga, host, nakakachismis. Gasoline balikan, mahal. Tapos may toll gate, ang toll gate ay 265. Balikan, 265. Tapos yung kakainin niya, punta siya sa bangko, pinapalit niya yon, pumila siya, yung ganon. Siguro sa 1,000, meron lang siya doon 200 para sa kanya talaga. Kasi yung naubos niya sa gasolina, from San Jose del Monte to Malolos, Bulacan, sabihin na natin 400 yon, tapos 200 do sa 265, almost 300 doon sa sa toll gate. So may natira man lang siya siguro sa kanya 100 pagkain niya. Siguro may natira 200 sa kanya sa 1,000 na yun. Kaya pero ang ginagawa niya kasi may kasabay na iba.
Sound check. Okay, so in a few minutes from this, morning on the bed. Yeah. So in a few minutes, start na po tayo. Pwede na po kayong mag-sound, mag-test po ng inyong mga mic. Baka po namin magkaroon tayo ng mga anak. Okay, thank you po. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Naku, teka, paro tayo dito. Shout out, shout out kay Bernard Kamama. Hello. Attend tayo ha. Tahimik lang to eh. Mega love shout out.
And merciful God,
You assure us that your hand is not too short to save, nor your ear too dull to hear our prayer. You have revealed that you are ever attentive to our supplications. Your children are under the grip of fear because of the fast spreading coronavirus pandemic in the different parts of the world. Send the power of your word and calm the storms of fear and desperation. Father God, take authority over this present crisis that your children may live in peace and security. You are the Lord who heals us. Heal those affected and strengthen their afflicted families.
Day and night, but
Give
Rosebud.
courage and protection
Day and night, hello.
and comfort to the medical personnel taking care of the sick. May your grace and comfort surround the dying, and may their souls rest in peace. Holy Spirit, give wisdom and guidance to the scientists doing research that they may develop an effective medicine to combat the sickness speedily. We pray for the government authorities that they may take appropriate steps for the good of the world. Lord Jesus, we remember you said, God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that everyone who believes in him might not perish, but might have eternal life. With the apostles, we cry out to you, Lord, save us. We are perishing. Let not this present crisis lead your children to fear and gloom. Let them rather turn their hearts to you, finding their hope in you, who is our refuge forever and ever. Amen.
Lagay mo ay kabutihan. Dogsila Squad. Day and night, everyone. Ang init nga eh. Para maitong damit ko. Ang init. How are you? Busy as usual. Attending the meeting. This is our meeting. Yes, prayer. After the prayer, this is the meeting. School hymn. Kalina ka ng bayan sinilangan. Deped San Jose. Hymn. Deped San Jose del Monte. Kislap ng bayan. Bukasan. Deped San Jose del Monte. Ang mga namumuno, naging-ot, kumagabay, nag-agapan. Hindi ako yun. Yung patugtog yun ng magandang boses. Michelle Agrisola, ayan, nandiyan si Bernard Kamama. Balikan na tayo. Manonood nga rin ako ng Michelle Agrisola. San Jose del Monte, kislat ng bayan, tagumpay sa bukasan. Deped San Jose del Monte, tagumpay sa kinabukasan. Deped San Jose del Monte. Oh, ano muna kami? Attendance. Attendance.
Yan, isang mapagpalang araw po sa ating lahat. Isang walang araw. Okay. Hindi na?
Good morning po, Sir Art. Check ako ba attendance? Okay, good morning po sa ating lahat. So for checking of attendance, may request Ma'am Belen Bartolome for District 1. Ma'am Belen, are you present?
Good morning. Speaking to permission to speak po. Ma'am
Yes,
Gima,
Sir James.
the PSDSS cannot join the meeting because they have not received the link for this MANCOM.
Okay, so may request na lang po all the principal for District 1, may I call on Mr. Albino, Christopher Albino. Good morning, Sir Chris. Sir Joel Gidote. Ma'am Josephine Choco. Ma'am Crystal May.
District 10.
Ma'am, District 1 po kami, ma'am. Santo Cristo para
District 10 na po si Sir Joel.
Ay, sorry. Bakit mali ang dito?
District 9 po po, ma'am.
Sorry.
Ma'am Gima, I may ask, are the PSDSS included in this MANCOM?
Yes po, sir. Di pa usually naman po kasama po sila.
Sir Arthur, with due respect po, they haven't received yet the link for invitation to this meeting. Thank you.
Sir James, meron po akong PM sa iyo.
Ayan, tapos.
Sorry po ha, medyo na lang. Okay. So for District 1, we have San Isidro Elementary School, Mr. Albino, Chris Albino. Good morning, sir. From Bacawat Elementary School, Ma'am Crystal May Bernardino.
Good morning po.
ma'am. Good morning. From San Roque Elementary School, we have Jacqueline Santos.
Good morning po.
Good morning. We have from Paradise Farms Community School, Ma'am Cristia Torres.
Good morning po.
Morning. Then from Santo Cristo Elementary School, Mr. Raul Panimbatan.
Morning
sir.
po, ma'am. Morning po.
And then from Cacahuate High School, we have Sir Junard. Good morning, Sir Junard. And then from Santo Cristo National High School, we have Ma'am Elisa Harabe.
Good morning po.
Okay, so we have a perfect attendance for District 1. Thank you very much for joining us. Then may we call Cluster 2, headed by the Public Schools District Supervisor, Ma'am Lourdes Robes. From Towerville Elementary School, Ma'am Nerlisa Miranda. Good morning, Ma'am Nerly. From Goldenville Elementary School, we have Ma'am Marisa Solomon.
Good morning po.
Good morning. From Minuyan Elementary School, we have Ma'am Seni Aguirre. Good
Good morning po. Good morning.
Yes, then we have from Manuya National High School, Mr. Leo Glenn. Good morning, Sir Leo.
Morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning then from Towerville High School, Ma'am Flor Delisa Gonzalez.
Morning
Ma'am
po.
Florida Gonzalez, sorry. Good morning,
morning
Ma'am Flor. Thank you very much. Kumpleto po ang ating District 2. Then we move to District 3, headed by their District Supervisor, Dr. James Tagade. From Bagong Buhay G Elementary School, we have Brenny Rose Sahurda. Good morning, ma'am. From Lawang Pari BPI Elementary School, we have Ma'am Edwina Manalastas.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Good morning. From Bagong Buhay A Elementary School, we have Ma'am Rowena Lancero.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Then from Citrus National High School, Mr. Jane Sinen at Sinen B. Jane. What is Sir Jane? Okay, so from San Martin High School, we have Ma'am Irna Mejia.
Good morning po.
Good morning, Ma'am Irna. So, isa po yung absent po sa ating Cluster 3. Ang yung OIC po ngayon ng ating Citrus National High School. Thank you very much. District 3. Cluster 4 or District 4. From Bagong Buhay Elementary School, we have Ma'am Virginia Manuel. Good morning. From Bagong Buhay B Integrated School, we have Dr. Lilibeth Dasco. Good morning, Ma'am Beth. And we have from Bagong Buhay Elementary School, Mr. Sopronio Makawini. Good morning.
Morning.
And then we have from Tulungbayan Elementary School, Mr. Francis Tabuso. Good morning, Sir Francis. And we have from National Trade School, Mr. Angeles, Sir Alex. Thank you. Good morning po. Then we have from okay, so kompleto po yung ating District 4, headed by their Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Rebecca Talde. Okay, so we move to Cluster 5, District 5, headed by Dr. Lydia Belunta. From Satangpalay Proper Elementary School, we have Ma'am Jocelyn Santiago. Good morning po. Good morning, ma'am. We have from San Martin BBC Elementary School, Ma'am Maria Teresa de la Cruz. Good morning, ma'am. And from Santa Cruz BBD Elementary School, Miss Kimberly De Leon. Good morning po. Good morning. We have from San Rafael BBH Elementary School, Ma'am Fortaleza Limon. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Then we have from Sapangpalay National High School, Ma'am Wilma Aquino. Ma'am Wen, morning. Good morning po. Good morning. Morning, ma'am. Then we have from San Rafael National High School, Mr. Mark Ian Bunyog.
Morning po.
Good morning. So we have perfect attendance for District 5. Thank you very much. We'll move to District 6, headed by the District Supervisor, Mr. Darlan Argragida Jr. From San Jose del Monte Central School, Ma'am Juliet Balitan. Ma'am Juliet, good morning. Morning. We have from San Jose. Good morning. We have from San Jose del Monte Heights Elementary School, Mr. Francisco Policarpio. Sir Francis, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning from Heroesville Elementary School, Ma'am Gina Yongke.
Pleasant morning to all po.
morning from San Jose del Monte Heights High School, Ma'am Daisy Puro.
Good morning, Ma'am Jayma. Good morning to all.
Good morning. We have from Luzon High School, from Christina Santiago. Good morning, Ma'am Christy.
Morning po.
Good morning. Thank you very much, District 6. So we have a complete attendance for District 6. Let's move to District 7, headed by the District Supervisor, Ma'am Elvira S. Daza. From Partida Elementary School, we have Ma'am Caroline Oliveros. Ma'am Carol. Good morning. Good morning. From Benito Nieto Elementary School, Ma'am Villanueva Mendoza. Ma'am Jenny.
Good morning po. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. From Luzon, Tabay Elementary School, Miss Lourdes Solomon. Ma'am Des.
Salamat, ma'am, miss. Good morning, everyone.
And then from Luzon Harmony High School, we have Mr. Andronimo Gilada. Sir Joel, morning.
Good morning po, ma'am Gina. Good morning po sa lahat. God bless po.
Morning. And then we have last Miss Ann-Lisa Lepasana from San Jose del Monte Science High School. Good morning.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Thank you very much. District 7, you have a complete attendance. Thank you for joining us. So we have for the cluster 8, led by District Supervisor Dr. Maria Socorro Bilindo. From Gaya Gaya Elementary School, we have Maria Fatima Felicia. From Fatima.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. From Barangay Elementary School, Mr. Chito Ripon. Sir Chito.
Ma'am, good morning po.
Opo, sa webis na tayo magra-ranking. From Graceville Elementary School, we have Ma'am Gayanan Ryan at Palaganas. Good morning, Ma'am.
Ma'am. Hello po.
And from Barangay High School, we have Mr. Rogelio Cizan. Sir Walter, good morning.
Good morning po, ma'am.
And, ay, sino Graceville? Graceville National High School. Si Sir Rolly. Good morning, Sir Rolly. I see you of Graceville National High School. So we have a perfect attendance for District 8. Thank you very much for joining. Then, let's move to District 9, headed by Ma'am Teresita S. Padilla. From Ricafort Elementary School, we have Mr. Ronino Santos. Sir Nino, good morning. From Tucumanga Elementary School, we have the OIC, Mr. Arnold Bukag. Sir Arnold, good morning. Nandiyan siya, pero baka lang yung audio. Then from San Manuel Elementary School, Dr. Josephine Choco.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning po sa lahat.
Good morning. From Gumac Elementary School, Miss Lynn Grace Abanador.
Good morning po. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Good morning. Then from San Manuel High School, Ma'am Joycelyn Lanoso. Ma'am Joyce.
Sprite and guys.
Nandiyan po ba? Hindi ko siya marinig. We have from Gumaok Elementary. Okay. So we have from Paradise National High School, Ma'am Annie Joaquin.
Good morning po. Good morning to everybody.
Good morning. So we'll check if Ma'am Joyce is in the attendance later. So thank you very much. District 9. Let's move to District 10, headed by the District Supervisor, Mary Ann M. Niera. Okay. So from Francisco Homes Elementary School, we have Ma'am Miriam Zamora. Morning po. Morning. Good morning, ma'am. From Castian Elementary School, we have Evangelina Galvez. Ma'am Vanji, good morning.
Morning po. Morning.
Okay. Then we have from San Jose del Monte National High School, Engineer Danilo Casas.
Morning po. Morning.
Good morning, sir. Then we have from San Jose del Monte, from Caypian National High School, Ma'am Gis Campano.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. We have from Kio Elementary School, Mr. Joel Guidote. Sir Joel.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Then lastly, we have from Bulawin High School, Miss Shona Dulay.
Morning po.
Good morning. So thank you, class 3, District 10, for having a perfect attendance. Good morning.
And daily life.
Ma'am Chair, we have a complete, that is our attendance for today's fourth Management Committee meeting.
Thank you, Ma'am Gina. And with that, we have a quorum. I am now calling this fourth Schools Division Management Committee meeting to order. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We now proceed to the presentation of the minutes of the previous Schools Division Management Committee meeting.
We have already provided all the chief and principals of the minutes of the meeting for the last management committee meeting.
All school heads were provided with a copy, Ma'am Gina.
Yes, ma'am. I see that. Yes,
okay. If that's the case, then we just here for any motion for modification, correction, deletion, or approval of the minutes of the previous Schools Division Management Committee meeting from the body. Anyone? Natanggap ba nila, Ma'am Gina? Baka hindi naman nila natanggap. How did you send to them the copy of the minutes?
Through Messenger, ma'am. I sent through the PESPA president and the PASPA president ko, ma'am. Kasi wala pa akong lahat contact po.
Alright.
So, I goes through to the presidents of the associations.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Gina. May I hear from our PESPA and PASPA presidents, Engineer Danny and Sir Raul, if you were able to disseminate the minutes of the previous Schools Division Management Committee.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Morning po, Sir Raul.
Yes, ma'am. I have posted the minutes in our GC for the school head to browse the minutes. And I already printed the 43 pages. So, okay, I have the honor to present and approve for the approval of the minutes of the third Schools Division Management Committee meeting held last May 18, 2021 at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. via MS Teams.
Thank you, Sir Raul. Any objection or second the motion from the body?
Second the motion po.
Okay. If that's the case, we hereby approve the minutes of the third Schools Division Management Committee meeting held last time. With that, may I now present to you the business arising from the previous Management Committee meeting to be discussed by our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Erlea P. Villaros. Sir, take it away.
Yes, ma'am. So, is there any business arising from the minutes of the previous meetings, or am I going to present, ma'am, the BLC office of the STO?
The core secretariat should have provided the highlight. Ma'am Gina.
Ma'am Gina, please. Ma'am Gina, please.
Opo, sige lang po. I-share ko na lang po. Okay, so for the highlights of the previous meeting,
I okay.
so last
So
meeting, okay, sir.
yes.
Okay,
This
sige,
is
sir.
the copy of the minutes of the previous meetings. May I ask the management committee if there is any business arising from these minutes of the previous management committee meetings?
Okay, thank you, Sir Earl. So for the business arising during the previous meeting, we have discussed on the online registration for the election presented to us by Attorney Imelda Panis. Okay, so we also have raised some concerns which was given to us by our participants and was answered by Attorney Imelda Panis. So also we have the concerns of the SGOD on the implementation of the FAT plan and the validation of the SBM schedules. So, tapos na din po tayo dito sa SBM validation. And then we have the Bayanihan app. So, we already paid for the allowance, the subsidy. Then, also for the 74 learners, doon po sa subsidy na binigay po din natin. And then we have the Gawad Siklab finalists for high school elementary. Then we have conducted the online mental health support. Then we have conducted the English proficiency test. We also have Brigada Eskwela preparation headed by Marlita Inchong. We have the national ID registration conducted. So we already finished this registration for PhilSys registration. Thank you very much for all the support of our school heads and the SDO personnel. So we also have the following constructions. Okay. So Then we have BFF Repair and Rehabilitation 2021 request. We already conducted the bid opening yesterday, and complete na po to. We have already a supplier or contractor to do this repair and rehabilitation for BBE Elementary School and Minuyan Elementary School, as well as the San Rafael BH Elementary School. So we have other repair requests for 2022, but we have not yet received any updates on this. Waiting po ang ating office for the funding. Okay. So we also have evaluated or assessed all the electrification upgrade, condemned school buildings, proposed projects for SEF, and annual maintenance of gutters of 3 to 4 story school buildings, which is being requested from SEF funding. Okay, these are all for the SEF. So for the benefit of all, hindi pa po nakapagsimula po ito. Although the local government engineering office is preparing for the program of work service. So the early registration was already conducted and was extended last May. So then we have already discussed on the cutoff age of kinder, on the transfer data and LIS. For the CID concerns, we have the first and second quarters, very satisfactory performance of learners. Okay. So I've implemented Division in School Initiatives Numeracy program. So we also already assessed the practices provided to our schools. And we have already distributed the fourth quarter procurement SLM's allocation. So we, on the LDM portfolio of teachers, we have already provided. So for now, we have no SLMs for distribution except for the upcoming distribution of from SEF. So on the concerns of Doc Engineer Danilo Casas on the problem on the title, we already noted that by our Chief Dr. Rolando Sotelo.
Ayan guys, meron na tayong luto.
Okay.
Titikman ng anak ko. So guys, ite-taste test niya na.
So another concern is on the provided soft copy to the supplier on the specialization. So, okay na po to. On the problem on the modules reported, we already made reconciliation with the LRM education supervisor. And inspectorate team of the division. On ICT services, we already discussed on the online service records.
Ayun, tapos na.
It is officially ongoing. Some of the teachers are already using this online service records. So we already have the answer of the concerns for the last meeting by our RTO, Sir Arthur. So on the item 5 for the accounting section, we have already on the MOA updates and on the other financial concerns. So we will only reiterate that every 5th of the month for the obligation and liquidation of schools. Us is the HS granting of hazard pay for our SHN. So we hope the comments and reminders on the submission of liquidation report has been addressed by our school heads. We have already addressed all the issues and concerns in the last meeting by our budget and accountant. So for the legal matters, Attorney Benigjan Ari already addressed all the concerns of our principals during the last meeting. We also discussed on the unfilled positions, the non-ska. For the information of the body, we are already preparing for the appointment of this 48 items. And we already discussed on the 33 items transferred uh, from their mother school to the current schools. We have already answered all the concerns of our principal the last meeting. So for the AWA or during the COVID, as per absences of the teachers and non-teaching personnel was discussed by our ASDS, Dr. Leo Villaros, and was answered all the concerns of the attendees. Madam Chair, Sir ASDS, these are the highlights for the previous meeting.
Yes, thank you very much, Ma'am Jima, for doing that for me. Uh, okay, is there any other business arising from these minutes of the previous management committee meeting? May I ask our school heads and our chiefs? Okay, so hearing none, Ma'am Superintendent, there's no other business arising from the minutes of our previous management committee meeting.
Thank you, Sir Earl. Yes, with that presented, I have also noted that all agreements were acted upon, hence no business arising for inclusion in today's MANCOM agenda. May I just reiterate that the core secretariat make use of the provided template for the agreements and for the business arising from the meeting, so that presentation of agreements and actions needed will be more systematic and clearer. Agreements will be presented at the end of every meeting. Thank you. Please take note of that for Secretariat. Thank you. And now, may I present to everyone the MANCOM agenda. Let me just share this. Alright, so this is the set of agenda for the 4th Schools Division Management Committee meeting today. So for first on the list is the discussion of the BELCOP of the Schools Division for school year 2021-2022, and of course, the process and requirements for the submission of the OPCRF of school heads for school year 2020-2021. This will be discussed by our ASBS, Dr. Elea P. Villaros. And then for the School Governance and Operations Division, to be discussed by our Chief Education Supervisor, Ma'am Esperanza Diaz Cruz. We have the TA on SBM regarding the regional validation, LIS update, school readiness checklist, Brigada Eskwela preparations. Then we have the database, the Action Research Bootcamp, the Gawad Club awarding, general feedbacks on ISMEA, and our implementation of Oplan Kalusugan for DepEd. Then, for Curriculum Implementation Division, to be discussed by our Chief Education Supervisor, Dr. Rolando Pisatello, we have the following in the agenda: achievement rating for grade level, inventory of locally developed modules, the Quarter 1 learning resources for school year 2021-2022, submission of SFCR1, and feedbacks on the checking of school forms, and the just concluded EOSY rights for school year 2020-2021. And then for Information and Communication Technology Services, care of our Information Technology Officer 1, Sir Arthur F. Francisco, he will be discussing with us the SIM card registration and distribution pertaining pertaining to internet load for all DepEd personnel, the program support fund for DCT desktop and laptop, and of course, the Microsoft Education Ambassador Program for DepEd personnel. For League of Finance Services, to be discussed and clarified by our Administrative Officer 5, Sir Orlando T. Gonzalez, and Accountant 3, Ma'am Christine Joy T. Quezada. They will be discussing with us COA Circular 2021-001 regarding the use of RER and CENRO. And then any updates from DBN and from the Finance Division of the region and the central offices. Then DOH Memorandum 2021-306 regarding the Grant of Hazard Subsistence Loan with RFHW, the mid-year budget performance, the additional MOE allotted for our health supplies, job realignment, the status of URS submission of our PARs, and then the request for change of name of learners in the school records to be discussed by our attorney under the legal services, Attorney Benedict John C. Arrow. Then, the administrative services to be clarified by our administrative officer 5, Ma'am Maria Gima Ticatis, regarding permit to study, status of ERF and the classification submitted to the regional office, the status of locally funded teachers, the deployment of teachers for school year 2021-2022, the status of plantilla of secondary school heads. Other matters to be discussed, contract of services of our job order personnel under MOOE, the electric and water consumption of schools. So, MANCOM members, this is the set of agenda that we have for the 4th Schools Division Management Committee meeting. Any additional concerns or issues that you want to be included?
Madam,
Yes, ASBS, go ahead, you're recognized.
there is none. So may I move for the approval and adoption of the set of agenda for our today's management committee meeting?
Any second the motion?
Second the motion, ma'am.
Second the motion po.
Okay. I hear Ma'am Gina Yonke. Tama ba?
Yes po,
And
ma'am.
Ma'am Lourdes Solomon.
Yes
Who
po.
seconded the motion of our ASBS for the approval of the agenda for today's Schools Division Management Committee meeting. With that, may I call on the first resource speaker that we have, of course, our ASBS, Dr. Elea P. Villares.
Ma'am, thank you very much for So I'm going to present now the PowerPoint presentation of our BELC office. Okay. So good morning po again to everyone. So my respect and greetings to our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Merlina P. Cruz, together with our two chiefs, Sir Rolly and Mampay, our education program supervisors, PSDSS, all other SDO personnel, and our school heads who are virtually present with our MANCOM meeting today. Good morning again. I'm really honored to present to you our BELCOP, or the Basic Education Learning Continuity Operational Plan for School Year 2021-2022. This BELCOP was actually developed by the Schools Division Office, City of San Jose del Monte, headed of course by our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Merlina P. Cruz, and together with our two chiefs nga po, Sir Rolly ni Mampay, then din ang ating mga members ng planning team. We in the Schools Division Office of San Jose del Monte have survived challenging year and have been continuously nurturing that sense of advocacy, yung parating binabanggit ng ating superintendent, malasakit, bayanihan, we heal as one, we rise as one. We have been connected in order to continue basic education and siguro challenge ko sa bawat isa, sa mga lalo sa mga school heads, we will always be for San Jose learners staying committed to connected to connect education. So sana magawa natin ito, no? Ito yung idea, ito yung napakagandang idea at plano ng ating superintendent to connect education to every San Joseño. This education learning continuity operational plan considers and responds to the directive of our Secretary, Leonor M. Brones, to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of our learners, teaching and non-teaching personnel. This also provides guidance to all our SVO personnel and school personnel on how to deliver basic education in this time of crisis, and lays down all the programs, projects, and activities to operationally continue basic education for school year 2021-2022 in terms of school governance and operations and curriculum implementation and assessment. So I am hoping that all our school heads, all our schools will do also their basic education learning continuity plan aligned with this SDO BELCOP. And we will do our part to this is actually the challenge of the regional office to move from the printed modular distance learning to less paper learning modality to digital modular distance learning or other modality which does not use the printed copies of our LDM materials. Our goals and objectives for this basic education learning continuity plan include: first, ensure safe and healthy school learning environment, adhering to policies and guidelines set by the Department of Education, LGU, DOH, IATF, to safeguard the safety and well-being of learners, teachers, and stakeholders. Second is to ensure continuity of basic education and implement the K-12 curriculum with the most essential learning competencies. Third is to determine and adopt the most appropriate, responsive, and complete teaching learning strategies and modalities based on the context of the school community. Fourth, make adjustments, alignment, and contextualization of our most essential learning competencies to accommodate varying contexts of learners, teachers, and learning environment, and ensure its effective and efficient delivery. Fifth, provide complete and appropriate learning resource materials for our learners. Sixth, determine, adopt, and administer the most appropriate and responsive formative and summative assessment in the school. Seventh, provide STO and school personnel appropriate training, psychosocial support services, and welfare program. Eight, ensure safe return of teaching and non-teaching personnel and learners to schools this school year 2021-2022. And lastly, to strengthen and sustain partnership and linkages with stakeholders in education. We have gathered and analyzed SDO and school data, like our options, the appropriate learning delivery modality, the private schools that will operate this year, the data about school-based feeding, IP education, madrasa, and others. Based on this information, 54 out of 55 schools used modular and online distance learning last school year. Only one secondary school used pure online distance learning. So nung nag-comment po ang regional office, they actually gave positive remarks on our BELCOP. Ang challenge lang nila sa atin, paano tayo makapag-move from this modular distance learning
the printed modular distance learning to other learning modality, yung pwede rin yung mga digital learning delivery modality or online learning delivery modality para maiwasan yung maraming paggamit ng mga papel o ng mga printed na mga modular distance, ng mga learning materials, ng mga printed learning materials. Okay. Ito pa rin po yung mga data natin tungkol sa ating enrollment. At ito po yung mga pinagbasehan natin ng mga decisions para sa ating sinet na mga programs, mga projects and activities for school year 2021-2022. We have also analyzed our strengths, our internal situation and external situation. These include the strengths and weaknesses and also the opportunities and threats. So, ito po, threats po ito, nagkamali lang po, no? Opportunities and threats or the SWOT. Okay. So, we'll provide you copies. So, hindi ko na po ito isa-isahin. Pwede rin ninyong tingnan ang inyong internal na sitwasyon at inyong external na kalalagayan para pagbasehan nyo rin po sa gagawin yung BELCOP na nakakonteksto sa inyong kalalagayan sa community. Okay. Our superintendent also created or developed the framework of this BELCOP, and this framework shows interconnectedness of San Joseños in education. So hindi pwedeng hindi tayo magkakaugnay, tayo talaga ay magkakaugnay, magkakasama para ipagpatuloy ang edukasyon ng ating mga mag-aaral. So this encompasses all projects and interventions of City of San Jose del Monte under the 4 components of Sulong Edukalidad, such as K-12 curriculum review and update, improvement of learning environment, teachers upskilling and reskilling, and engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration. So yun po yung ating context, yun yung ating sitwasyon internally and externally, at yun yung mga data natin. So with all this information, the SDO planning team developed this implementation plan. Okay. Under curriculum instruction, and this is aligned with the OPCRF of our superintendent. So, kaya po binabanggit ito kasi yung inyong basic, yung BELCOP pong gagawin ay align din dapat sa inyong sa inyong OPCRF na i-present by first week of September para sa school year 2021-2022. So, under this graph of our superintendent curriculum instruction, meron tayong sub-KRAs which include K-12 curriculum review and update, yung mga learning resources, assessment, learning delivery. And we have here a set of strategies where we base our PPAs. So, kung titignan niyo po, ito yung mga programs, projects, and activities or tasks natin na implement starting July 2021 hanggang March 2022 or May, hanggang May next year. Kaya ito rin po ang magiging basis namin sa aming adjustment bukas na nagagawin doon sa aming ginawang 2021 Work and Financial Plan para ma-include itong mga programs na ito sila, mga projects and activities in our financial plan para ma-implement natin. Marami kasi rito ay kinakailangan talaga rin ng kaperahan at meron tayong i-adjust na mga plano na natitira ngayong second semester. At ito rin ang magiging basis namin para sa pagpaplano namin for next fiscal year for 2022. Okay. Under this curriculum review and update, the programs, projects, and activities include continuous updating of inventory of records of SLMs. Kasalukuyan po itong ginagawa nila Sir Rolly at ang kanyang team. LAS, video lessons and assessment tools, mapping of the MELTs, and determining the competencies that lead for the development of contextualized SLMs, conduct of right shop on the development of SLMs, conduct of quality assurance on the submitted SLMs, last and assessment tools. We'll be doing also the procurement of storage device. Sa lukuyan po, nagkakaroon tayo ng procurement ng ilang mga storage device, mga tablets, at Wi-Fi for teachers, facilitating the online learning. Procure and reproduce LMs, last and contextualized activities sheets, and tasks using the downloaded files. So ngayon po, meron ng pinapirmahan ng ating CID para sa reproduction, sa printing ng ating SLMs for quarters 1 and 2 of this school year. The CID will also be doing the development of contextualized, formative, and summative assessment tools for distance learning. Another is under this is the preparation of schools for multiple learning delivery modalities and possible limited face-to-face learning. So, di ba binabanggit ng ating secretary na may posibilidad na magkaroon ng limited face-to-face pag medyo gumanda na ang ating kalagayan ngayon. Hopefully next year ay medyo lumuwag ng sitwasyon natin dahil lalaki na ang porsyento ng mga mababakunahan. Ito rin ang isa sa mga ni-recognize ng regional office ng pinresent natin ito, yung ensure that inclusive education programs like Madrasa, ALS, FED, and ITED, and special interest programs are continuously implemented and monitored. So, tayo po ang may ganitong programa na implement dito sa ating Schools Division Office at kinilala na through Ma'am Eva na ito ay magandang ating gagawin at ginagawa na sa ating mga schools. We also implement various numeracy and literacy programs to improve learning outcomes like strengthening the implementation of Basa Husay and Alas Math and others. The SDO will also monitor, supervise, and evaluate the school's implementation of learning continuity plan. This also includes provision of technical assistance in the processes of the schools. So kaya po, meron din tayong quarterly monitoring at yung ating SMEA po, yung schools monitoring, evaluation and adjustment will be done quarterly. At i-schedule na po yun ng ating SCOD para regularly makikita po natin yung progress ng ating mga pine-perform base sa ating mga plano. So under strategic management and operations of another KRA of our superintendent, under this is the sub-KRA, which is improvement of learning environment. So yung school readiness. So under this, we're planning to conduct online enrollment. So yung parents and learners who have internet and connectivity will be given copies of learners' enrollment and survey form, enrollment to FB groups of schools. So we'll also do or conduct offline enrollment.
Ilabas mo yung
tingnan natin kung ano nga ba yung
tutuan natin
yung
ng
ano yung pwede natin gawin para sa adjustment ng ating mga plano para magpatuloy na maganda ang ating pagpapatupad ng curriculum sa ating mga learners.
Tinapay, meron din. Ayun ang malaki doon.
Another,
Sa ganyan
the
pinagbago.
SEO will ensure updated uploading in the learner's information system. The SEO will also intensify Bantay COVID, Ligtas na Paaralan, or Opisina Project. We will reproduce IEC materials, or flyers, or brochures, pamphlets, and others. We will disseminate information through IEC materials such as infographics posted at DepEdTayo. We will release issuances providing guidelines on safe return to workplace in schools. Designate disinfection area by providing tents to schools without available spaces, and others. Another is the Schools Division Office will ensure health, safety, and well-being of learners, teachers, and schools and SDO personnel by implementing Healthy San Joseño po at the SDO as part of the COVID-19 transmission prevention initiative. So this includes provision of waiting area, filling up of individual health form, implementation of noise seeker no entry policy, etc. We will also ensure compliance to DRRM mechanisms. Ito po yung school readiness and preparedness amidst COVID-19. This includes compliance to protocols on WINS programs, compliance to protocols on cleaning and maintenance systems, compliance to protocols on infection control, compliance to protocols on physical distancing, compliance to protocols on dismissal, time to avoid crowding at exit points and waiting areas outside the school, compliance to protocols on waste management, compliance to protocols on nutrition and food safety, compliance to protocols on canteen system, and information dissemination. Another under strategic management and operations are the establishments of functional Committee on Clean Air Act Bantay Hangin. We will also ensure that proper ventilation and good housekeeping is being implemented in each workstation, mitigate soil erosion, improve air pollution, provide air-shed through tree planting, ensure electrical safety and proper operational status of air conditioning, cooling system in all DepEd offices. Reduce waterborne diseases, particularly among learners and vulnerable groups. Inform widest public of importance of Clean Air Act to reduce air pollution, reduce and eliminate adverse impacts of waste materials on human health and the environment, promote work hygiene and sanitation practices through hygiene and sanitation education, and the provision of standards for safe water safety and appropriate sanitation facilities. Introduce the importance of promoting clean air and waste management, deepen understanding of all learners, teaching and non-teaching personnel, and other stakeholders on air pollution and mitigation control, and strengthen mechanisms to promote clean air and sustain waste segregation, relevant activities by sharing schools' best practices. Another PPA's program under resource management include infrastructure readiness and resource management. So magkakaroon tayo dito ng updating of school building profile, implementation ng construction of classrooms. Sa ngayon, mayroon tayong under kahapon, i-pass namin ng bid para sa repair or rehabilitation ng mga classrooms. We will inspect classrooms for condemnation and demolition. We'll do school site mapping, prioritize wins in schools and CLCs, intensify youth program advocacies, initiatives, and ensure proper fund utilization. For human resource development and management, under teachers upskilling and reskilling, we're planning to update schools' website as additional learning delivery platform. Kaya matindi ang challenge sa ating IT officer na kay Sir Art para lalo na ma-improve natin ito. We're planning to ensure utilization of Google Debit account and MS3 0365 account to maximize access to various online applications, train teachers in the delivery of instruction and development of learning resource for effective teaching and learning. We are also planning to train teaching and non-teaching personnel on relevant topics in support to services. This include yung functional literacy, planning management and investment, and others. Promote appreciation and recognition programs to teaching and non-teaching personnel. Ito po yung ginagawa natin, dito sa SEO, yung ating kinakandak na appreciation and recognition program. Meron tayong Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, Women's Month, etc. We will also ensure excellence in the delivery of services by conducting performance review, teaching and non-teaching performance monitoring. We'll intensify parents' involvement, sustain partnerships with parents, riders, SK volunteers, and liga ng mga barangay. And we're planning to intensify public awareness through leadership appreciation program. We are planning to support literacy through partnership, deepen understanding on the PTA roles for learning delivery, review of partnership support mechanism, promote stronger public awareness, and engage community teaching, non-teaching personnel, parents, and learners in strategic planning and feedback system. Ito po yung kakandak natin na Tipalang San Josenyo at Interaction Series. So under monitoring and evaluation, ito po yung binanggit ko kanina, we'll conduct quarterly division monitoring, evaluation, and plan adjustment, and at the same time, the school monitoring, evaluation, and adjustment. So, kaya po para alam niyo na po na ito ay schedule na ng Schools Division Office throughout the School Governance and Operations Division for the conduct of our regular SMEA. Online SMEA. And we request submission of progress monitoring of the learning delivery modality. We'll hold mid and year-end review of all the programs. So ito po yung ating nakaplano sa ngayong taong pampangaroon 21 hanggang 22. We'll ensure the proper and timely implementation of all these programs, projects, and activities as we set the monitoring plan and the persons responsible for the implementation of all these activities under this monitoring plan. Okay, so I hope you learned something about this SDO, BLCOP. We will provide you digital copies of this as your basis in crafting your own contextualized BLCOP, which will be aligned with your OPCRF, and this will be included also in your annual implementation plan. So, thank you very much. Lagi po natin binabanggit, malasakit sa bawat isa, bayanihan, we hear as one, we rise as one. Alias San Josenyo, thank you very much po. Baka po may gusto kayong linawin o itanong tungkol dito sa BLCOP. Before I discuss the submission of the school health OPCRF, meron po? Hello?
Sir, good morning.
Yes po, Ma'am Flor.
Opo. Clarification kasi before we had 8 objectives in our BELCP. So hindi na po yung susundin, kundi the same with what we have presented a while ago. Ganun na lang po gagawin niya.
Wala naman tayo select na number of objectives. However, you may plan your own objectives based on your context, based on the SWOT analysis that you made. Kasi usually lumalabas ito sila, yung mga objectives natin sila kapag nakapag-conduct tayo ng analysis ng ating sitwasyon sa paaralan. At ang main objective natin kasi, di ba, may pagpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng ating mga mag-aaral. So ito pong sinat namin 9 objectives na ito. Kung gusto nyo i-adapt, okay din po. Kung gusto nyo dagdagan or bawasan, base sa konteksto po nyo, wala pong problema. Basta ma-provide natin ang kalidad ng edukasyon at makapagpatuloy ang ating mga mag-aaral ng pag-aaral.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Ang ating pong superintendent, at ako may...
Yes, sir. Just a rejoinder to what you have mentioned. Of course, we have to remind our school heads to anchor the objectives on the 4 pillars of Sulong Edukalidad as what the regional office and the central office have requested us to do. That's why probably the question of floor a while ago, Sir Earl, kung susundin din nila yon. Kasi kung napansin po ng ating mga school heads, we followed the 4 pillars. So, tama po yung binanggit ni ASTS. It depends also on the result of your SWOT analysis. But may I reiterate that this should also be anchored on the 4 pillars of Sulong Education.
Yes, thank you very much po. No? So,
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
4 pillars natin. Ang floor.
Okay na, sir. Thank you, Claro. Thank you very much.
Meron pa po?
ASDS, para hindi sila mahirapan, anyway, we will be providing them with a copy of the Schools Division BELCOP. They may follow the format para po yung alignment din, hindi rin tayo mahirapan later on.
Opo. Yes ma'am, tsaka yung alignment po sa kanilang OPCRF din po eh. Talaga naka-align po talaga. Para hindi po tayo rin mahirapan at mas madali yung pag-evaluate natin ng inyong SMEA na naka-align sa inyong OPCRF. May suggestion pa rin po ang regional office na nag-present po natin ito. How can we, ang tanong nila, ang challenge nila, how can we sustain and do the smooth transition from the previous BELCP to this present or to this new BELCOP. Siguro concern din nila yung sa financial at dito po kasi ay ito ating pinalasan, wala pong nakalagay na amount. Bukas po kasi magkakaroon ng adjustment ang Schools Division Office, yung 3 planning phase natin, para ma-include ito doon sa ating WFP at malagyan ng kaperahan yung dapat na implement natin ngayong natitirang second semester hanggang December po. Okay. So para sa kaalaman din po na lahat, natutuwa po kami, ang ganda ng comment ng region. Sabi nila, ang performance rating, kung i-rate daw ni Sir William ang ating performance dito sa ating ginawang BLCOP, nasa within 95 to 100% ang ating rating. Sabi gano'n, no? Kaya pumapalakpak po si Ma'am Pai, kasi dito pagod na pagod din si Ma'am Pai at si Sir Rolly. Nung pinakinggan po ulit itong comment ng regional office. So meron pa po na gustong linawin. So wala po ma'am. So I shall proceed with the second agenda.
Sir, before you proceed, in the same manner, the school heads will also be presenting their BELCOP, right? probably this is the right time for us to agree on the timeline.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Siguro ma-set na rin ng ating team, kasama dito, ang planning team natin po, through Ma'am Pai at Sir Rolly. Ma'am, kailan po ang set natin?
The tentative opening of classes for school year 2020-2021 is September 13th. I say tentative because we haven't received yet any dated issuance except for the press release of our good secretary. So it's September 13th. So probably to give ample time for the dissemination of the contents of the LTOT to the schools stakeholders, probably sometime in August.
Can we do it last week of August and until first week of September, ma'am?
Bigitin na sila, sir, kasi September 13 ang opening of classes. I-disseminate pa kasi nila yan sa mga stakeholders.
Yes. So second, third, and fourth week po. Kasi marami po yun, matagal din ang presentation. But we will limit the presentation maximum of 30 minutes. The third and fourth weeks. Any comment from our school heads po? Baka ganun po silang gustong sabihin para sa ating presentation po ng BSCOP ng school.
More or less 8 days with 7 school heads will be presenting per day. Any comment from our school heads, the members of the MANCOM, the 55 school heads that we have? Anyone? So that we also know your concern or would be concerned, or if you have issues pertaining to this. Aside from the issue raised by Ma'am Flor a while ago, may kausap po ba kami ni ASDS?
Yes, ma'am. Siguro, hello, ma'am.
Hello, Flor.
Oo. Kasi nabanggit ni Sir kanina regarding the schedule of validation of our OPCRF. Kailan po kaya yun? Alin ang mauna? Kasi yung preparation po namin. Kasi sa ngayon, sir, nag-aayos pa kami ng IPCRF of teachers. Kasi nga, nag-validate din kami. So, sana meron din time kami na mag-ayos doon sa mga ELCOP, tama ba? And our OPCRF as well.
Yes, ma'am. We will set agreement for that after presenting the processes in validating your OPCRF.
Alin po ang mauna, sir? Alin kaya?
Definitely mauna po si OPCRF, pero hindi po kami nakapag-usap ng ating superintendent kung kailan po ang submission. Mag-agree po tayo ngayon kung kailan submission ng OPCRF.
Opo, kasi yung BLCOP ay i-open pa namin, magkakandak kami ng meeting with our stakeholders, mag-i-step po kami kasi most of them not possible for online, for virtual. Kasi may katulad ko, sir, sa BBH, may concern ako doon sa aming mga kapitan. I have 5 barangay chairman kung saan parang dalawa lang yung available in terms of yung sa virtual orientation or meeting or planning. So, ang mangyayari, magdadalawang batch ako kung sino yung available doon sa sa virtual at saka sino sa face-to-face. Kaya naman tinanong ko lang, sir, para at least may time kami, yung timeline namin mag-ready. Thank you po. Thank you.
So, if the presentation of the BLCOP will be made for 8 days, so definitely mag-start tayo ng August
23. August 23, sir.
Opo. August 23 po. So,
The week before will be the presentation of their OPCRF, probably, to give them enough time. But then it's not, unlike last year's presentation, there will be another strategy that will be done this year, and that will be discussed by our ASPN. Actually, that's the next item in his agenda. No? Siguro, before we agree on that, i-discuss muna, sir, yung pangalawa sa agenda na nakalista sa'yo.
yes ma'am po. Opo.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir.
So, para po sa submission ng school health of PCRF, ito po yung gagawin nating process. Okay. Di pa ba tapos na kayong makapag-present ng iyong SMEA? At yung SMEA po ang gagawin nating isa sa mga main material or tool para ma-rate po kayo sa inyong OPCRF. So, i-submit niyo po yung 3 copies ng inyong OPCRF at i-attach niyo po yung inyong SMEA report with summary rating. Ano po yung itsura ng summary rating? Nandun po yung KRA, yung objective, and yung QEP. Di ba ba yung binabanggit ko nung kayo nag-present ng SMEA? Naroon po yung rating niyo sa quality, efficiency, and timeliness para makomplete na po yung total score po ninyo sa baba. At sasama nyo rin po ang inyong mga MOOs na nakagrupo by KRA. Kung may 5 po kayong KRA, sa bawat KRA, nakalagay po doon yung inyong MOOs para pag naibigay po sa ating performance management team, kung halimbawa ang role Sir Rolly ay i-validate yung inyong performance sa curriculum implementation, yung KRA nyo na may ugnay sa curriculum implementation ay yung folders ko noon o yung kung naka-folder or kung nakakahon, yun po ibibigay kay Sir Rolly para ma-check po niya sa yung KRA po nyo at yung rating dun sa KRA na yun. So, ulitin ko po, ang mga MOVs po ay nakagrupo base sa inyong 5 KRAs. Para hiwa-hiwalay na po siya at madali na pong ma-validate ng ating performance management team. At ang ating performance management team po ay i-validate ang inyong self-rating na ginawa ninyo na makikita doon sa inyong summary rating sheet. At we will agree on the rating that will be given to you based on your submitted SMEA report and the MOVs. Okay. So, ganito lang po kasimple yung ating ibibigay na OPCRF. Ang attachment po ay SMEA report, summary rating, and the MOV. Okay. So, let's now agree on the date of submission of the OPCRF. O, tatlo pala po, Ma'am SBS, tatlo po pala nakaset, yung submission ng kanilang OPCRF ng 2021. At the same time, yung maging agreement naman na OPCRF natin for school year 2021-2022 at saka itong BELC OP. Kaya po pala magkakasunod nga po pala ito, ma'am. Ito po yung for 2021 to 2022 OPCRF. The 2021-2022 OPCRF should be aligned with your BELC OP and your annual plans. So ito po lang yung mga note namin. So this time, we will now agree on the date of the submission of your OPCRF for school year 2020-2021. Ano po ang suggestion ng ating school heads? Ma'am Lord, kayo po kanina nagsalita.
Sir, good morning.
Yes, sir. Sino po ito?
Sir, medyo malabo kasi yung audio ko eh. Kaya hindi ko gano'n naintindihan. Yun bang SMEA report with summary rating sheet? This summary rating sheet is the summary rating sheet of all the IPCRFs of our teachers.
Hindi po. Yung di ba, sa bawat objective po ng SMEA, mayroon purong summary or mayroon total and summary. Doon po nakikita yung quality.
Okay po, nakuha na po. Thank you po.
Si Ma'am Cristina po, Cristina Santiago. Takas po ang kamay ni Ma'am Cristina Santiago.
Good morning, Ma'am Mer. Good morning, Sir Ace. Good morning po sa lahat. Sir, lang po yung SMEA na pinisit namin. Kasama po ba yung summary rating? Parang hindi ko po makita sa akin.
Wala po, pero pwede na, sige, gagawan lang po ako ng template para doon nila po i-copy and paste yung inyong mga scores.
Suggestion po, sir, siguro po parang mas mauna dapat yung presentation of PCRM 2021. Saka po yung PORCP kasunod. Saka naman po yung OPCRF 2022.
Yes, also. So yun po ang suggestion lang, ma'am. Unahin, siyempre mauna si ng OPCRF 2020, presentation of the full contextualized PLCOP, and then the 2021-2022 OPCRF agreement and contract signing.
Yes po, mauna po talaga yung school year 2020-2021. The good thing is they have presented already the MOVs before during the SMEA. That's why this time there will be no individual presentation of the accomplishments based on OPCR school year 2020-2021. That's why the PMC is just requesting you to submit the MOVs for each KRA because those will be validated by the members of the PMP before approval of your rating. During the approval of your rating, we will be calling on each one of you to inform you, of course, of the result of the validation, and then we agree on the rating versus your self-rating and the findings of the PFP. Ganun lang po ang mangyayari ngayon. So, madali lamang yung OPCRF process natin for school year 2020-2021. So, kakayanin kaya yon ng probably August 9, 10.
August 9 and 10.
Submission, sir. Either August 9 or August 10. One or before, August 10.
Yes.
Kakayanin. Kasi ano po, ready na ang mga MOVs nyo dahil nag-SMEA na kayo. Tama ba? School heads?
Pwede kaya tumawad, ma'am.
Tawad. O sige, August 11.
Pwede kaya tumawad, ma'am.
Tawad, ma'am, please.
Sige.
August 16.
August 16, ma'am.
Okay, if it is August 16, ASDS will be scheduling the validation on August 17, 18.
Yes, opo.
Opo. And then August 19 and 20, we will be calling on them individually for the finalization of their rating for school year 2020-2021. Okay po ba yun?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige. So,
Ma'am, thank you.
Okay na yun, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you po.
August 16 is the submission of
August 16.
those mentioned by ASBS a while ago regarding to OPCR every school year 2020-2021. August 17, 18, the PMT validation, kami po yun. And then 19-20, the individual confirmation of your OPCR rating for school year 2020-2021. Taro po.
Ma'am SDS, nakakatakot po. Pero kaya po.
It's the same, actually, as last year. Kaya lang last year ang ginawa niyo pa parang dinepend niyo pa talaga isa-isa. Pero ngayon, ay nag-usap kami ni ASPS kanina, we considered the presentation of ISMEA already. Wherein, more or less, we were able to present already the whole school year just passed. So, there's no need for you to present.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay po. Okay? And then, yes, yun na, August 16 to 20. And then August 23, the submission yung BLCOP ASDS or magandang ipresent na lang nila para minsanan na together with the OPCRF.
Submission ng BLCOP or akala ma'am, mag-schedule po ba tayo ng presentation, di po ba? Presentation then submission.
Oo.
Present po muna in the submission po.
Okay, sige. Oo. Sige. Let us hear from them. Probably they are raising their hands and their concerns are connected with this before we give our concerned decision. May I call first Ma'am Wilma Aquino. Go ahead, Ma'am Wilma.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning po.
Morning.
Apo. Kasi ma'am, nasa harap ko po ngayon yung pinamigay po na OPCRF. Napansin ko po kasi ma'am, doon po sa unang CRA niya na School Leadership Management and Operations, nakalagay po 30%. Pero 5 lamang po yung objective na nakasulat. Kaya kulang po ng 5 points. Sa tingin ko, ewan ko kung mali po ako. 25. Opo, bali kulang po ng isa, kaya bali 25 lang po yung lumalabas. Tapos tatanong ko ma'am, ano po yung ilalagay doon sa review period at saka po yung date of review?
Sige, go ahead, Sir Earl.
Hindi niya po lamang yung start of the school year kasi ang rating po nila is school year eh. So, sa ganun order number 2 po, ang talagang start ng school year, June, and then mid-year ay November, then year ay April or May. Sa ngayon, dahil nag-start ang school year natin na October, pero ang nangyari naman po sa kanilang ISMEA report, nag-start po ang presentation nila ng kanilang ISMEA July 2020, nag-end po ng April 2020.
The rating period will be, to cover everything, no? June, actually, sir, may nag-present ng June ang start. So, the rating period will be June 2020 to July 2021.
Opo.
Date of review is on August 16, yung date of submission ninyo. Kasi the following day naman, i-validate na po namin. So the date of review is August 16, 2021. Then, ASDS yung concern ko ni Ma'am Wilma regarding the percentage. Kindly look into it.
Yes, ma'am. Nakita ko na po yun, parang more than 100 nga po eh. 105 yata yung nakita ko. Binago ko na po yun. Bibigay ko na lang po yung adjusted na weight per objective or per KRA.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Iho Elementary School. Sir Rodinho, hindi mo na-rename. Go ahead. Sir Joel. Go ahead.
Morning po, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Regarding po sa case ko, ma'am, mag-present po ako ng OPCRF and ISMEA sa report po. Yun po ang i-deliver. Yun po ang
when were you designated or reassigned?
June 14 po.
Yes. Opo. Kasi wala kang 3 months sa current creation mo. Yes po. And then Sir Rodinho will be presenting yung sa power bill niya kay PCR.
Regarding po sa ISMEA, ma'am, kasi ang ipinresent ko last ISMEA presentation is the GIHO.
Tama yun, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Ang isasama ko po sa OPCRF po sa report is ISMEA ng report.
Opo.
Tapos, ang submission po is hard copy or soft copy.
Ma'am, kailangan po ng hard copy kasi mag-meet po ang team.
Yes, ma'am. Yung MOBs po is hard copy per CRA together with the ISMEA.
Yes.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am. Good morning.
Okay po. Ba't nawala yung hands ng iba? Siguro they have the same question. Yes, Ma'am Daisy Purong, go ahead. You are recognized.
Good morning po, ma'am and sir. Regarding po dun po kasi po nung nagkaroon po ng SMEA presentation, marami pong naging parang suggestion po na ilalagay po namin. So, sir, ano po ba, yung pa rin po ba ang gagawin namin or yung ano po muna, sir? Yung, kasi po yung nakaraan po sa SMEA, ang sabi po, huwag mauulit yung mga activities. Pero sir, pag tinignan po natin yung amin pong mga parang official, parang may mauulit po, sir. So, ano po bang ano namin, sir, doon? And ma'am, thank you po.
Di ba ang suggestion ng ating Lamapay ay i-align yung mga PPAs sa inyong objective. So, kung saan po nakaayon yung inyong mga PPAs, doon po ilalagay na sira and objective. Okay po kayo kung ano po, kung saan naka-align yung inyong mga PPAs na objective at KRA.
Okay po, sir. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat po, madam.
Thank you. Ma'am Anli Salepasana, you are recognized.
Good morning po, Ma'am SDS and so ESPS. I'd like to clarify lang po the MOBs. If it is really hard copy because last time we all have the soft copy, which is I think is make it practical po because MOBs for this SMEA and for the OPCRF is kind of big po and will prove medyo ma-toxic po sa papel. Will that be ano po, considered?
Sige. Kakayanin ba natin sa Rollis of copy na lang? Mag-ano lang tayo, mag-LCD? Ganun na lang siguro po. Kung, yes, we can make adjustment na lang po siguro ma'am kung soft copy ang bibigay.
Thank you very much.
In addition to that, ASBS, in addition to that, may we just request our school heads to properly label the files in the soft copies. For example, one folder, KRA number 1. If you open KRA number 1, then the file names of the MOVs should be in separate folders para po hindi mahirapan yung validating team din. Okay
Yes,
naman po yun kasi as much as possible.
Yeah, suggestion ko po, karugtong po ng binanggit natin sa superintendent. Sa folder po, name that folder, iba KRA1, iba curriculum strategic management. So under KRA1, magkakaroon pa rin po siya ng mga subfolders para sa objective 1, objective 2, objective 3, objective 4 hanggang kung ilang objective po siya. Kasi may cases na isang objective, maraming mga activities at mga MOBs. So ulitin ko po, for every KRA may isang folder. Under that folder, mayroong mga subfolders na nakapasok yung mga evidences or MOBs per objective.
One more thing, ASBS, kasi medyo malaki yan. Can we allow them to store that via Google Drive so that they can just share with us the link? Para mas mabilis po. Hindi na sila mag-ano ba yan sa CD? Mag-write sa CD o kaya mag-save sa USB, sa flash drive o kaya sa external hard drive. Pwede po sa Google Drive na lang.
Yes, maganda po ma'am. Opo, para madali, naka-organize na po rin sa Google Drive.
Okay. Yes, we still have Ma'am Maria Teresa de la Cruz. Ma'am, go ahead.
Good morning po. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. With regards po dun sa suggestion ni Ma'am Lipasana, soft copy, kung halimbawa kung willing naman kami mag-hard copy, kasi po actually po pagka sa hard copy mas mabilis po siyang ma-compile. Unlike po kasi sa soft copy, it's either i-scan pa namin yung document, i-picturean, tapos ita-transfer pa po sa PowerPoint, or kung hindi po magaling sa ICT yung tao, mas matagal po kasi siya, unlike pagka hard copy. Xerox lang namin, ilalagay lang po namin doon sa folder. Mas ano po, siguro kung billing po ng hard copy, okay lang po ba sa hard copy kami? Kasi mahirap din po kasi yung matagal kami nakatutok sa computer pag ano po ng pag-aayos po ng mga documents namin o attachment. Okay lang po ba kung ako halimbawa po hard copy lang po ako?
Pwede po. If the paperless is another option po. Pwede po.
Sige po. Salamat po. Thank you, ma'am.
Opo.
I see no hands raised. Probably, okay na lahat ng concerns. Sir, yung presentation nila ng OPCRF 2021-2022, can we not have a separate presentation on that? Kasi diba, the OPCRF 2021-2022 should be aligned with the BELCOP. So makikita na po natin sa BELCOP nila. Probably, we can just request for them to submit the OPCRF for 2021-2022 para yung alignment makikita natin. No? Para isang presentation na lang po sila, BELCOP na lang po.
Yes, opo. So, ganda po yun. Hitting two birds. Maganda po yun. Sa activity lang, presentation ng BLCOP, nasa-check na rin yung alignment ng 2021-2022 OPCR.
Ang idadagdag na lang siguro nila, sir, sa BLCOP, yung financial, column. Para hindi na rin natin iisa-isahin mamaya yung WFP nila. Para minsanan BLCOP, nandun ang OPCRF nila, nandun na ang WFP nila.
Opo, ma'am.
So, if that's okay, then the presentation for the BLCOP aligned with your OPCRF, and of course, SMEA aligned naman na yun, will be on August 23 to September 1. And then, September 2 onwards, it's up to you to schedule your own dissemination of the learning continuity plan to your stakeholders. Okay po ba, school head? Walang reactions, wala na nagtataas ng kamay. Siguro okay na, sir.
Okay na po, klaro na po sa kanila, ma'am. Huwag po sila matakot, hindi naman tayo, tulong-tulong po tayo dito, sama-sama tayo dito, ma'am. Magaganda po ang performance ng ating mga schools. Okay, so thank you very much po, ma'am.
Alright, thank you, Sir Earl. So I do not see any raised hands now. We move on to the next agenda. This will be, the topic will be discussed by our SBOD Chief Education Supervisor, Ma'am Esperanza Diaz Cruz. Ma'am Pai, go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning po, sir. Good morning po sa lahat. Sandali lang po, ma'am, ha? Sandali lang po.
Do you need assistance on the presentation, Ma'am Pai?
Hindi na, ma'am. Sandali lang po, ha? Sandali lang po. Good morning po sa lahat. Nag-upload lang po ng ating STOB agenda for this 4th MANCOM meeting. Before I present this agenda, I'd like to thank everyone for the amazing months we had collaborated together. On behalf of the whole STOB team, we would like to hindi po ma-upload. Ay, sorry ma'am, hindi po siya ma-upload. Kaya Badet, andito ka po, Ma'am Badet. Can you play?
Nag-minutes po ako. Okay. Nag-minutes po ako mag-attend. Sige. Noted, Ma'am Badet. Ma'am Pai, nakashare ka sa files? Wala siya sa files. Send mo na lang muna Ma'am Pai sa akin, kahit ako na mag-present sa iyo. Wala siya sa MS Team files. Okay, sige. In the interest of time, may I request the next speaker? We have Sir Rolly. Sir Rolly, please go ahead. Then after you, saka na lang papasok si Ma'am Pai.
Load na po siya, ma'am. Sorry po, ayan po siya. Ayan po. Thank you po, ma'am. Pasensya na po. Okay po, magandang umaga po sa lahat. Ito po ulit ang ating, again, thank you our dear school heads and your SPM team for the amazing validation we had, which are great people at the field offices, and this is the result of our 2020-2021 SPM validation. We have the elementary, we have level 2, 15 public elementary schools, and we have 4 secondary, total of 19 level 2 schools with SPM practice, and level 3 we have 19 elementary, 1 integrated, and 16 secondary, total of 36. Ito po yung breakdown of this level 2 public schools. Thank you po. I would not read them all, but again, thank you for the efforts and sacrifices you have shared with us, with the DFT80 team from teams 1 to team 5 on learning how you run the whole school-based activities based on the SPM principle. Maraming salamat po. And meron po tayong for regional validation. Ito po ay meron po tayong schedule for TA of the DFT80. Again, the validation, the TA will be provided by a 4-man team headed by our SEPS SMME and yours truly on Thursday, that's July 28, on our 5 elementary and 5 secondary schools for the RM SBM, regional office SBM validation. That validation is based on this issuances, Regional Memorandum 133 Series 2021, Regional Memorandum 134 Series 2021, and DepEd Order 83 Series 2012 as the mother of the school-based management. Okay po. On the list update, we received our planning officer, Ma'am Maria Belisa Camino, received around 4,786 data corrections on schools. And salamat po sa Diyos at tayo po ay from 4,786, 702 na lang po ang ongoing data corrections. Mga kasama, just want to remind that again, the data corrections can be done, it's year-round. As what we said during our first MANCOM, I remember it right, that we remind you that those data that can be done early as before the end of school year, you can have it done para po mawala na po siya sa ating isip. Nakatapos na tayo on that particular data correction for particular learners po. Specifically, yung mga merging of LRN and other concerns na for ticketing pa po for the central office. And po, but then again, our main issue here on the list updates are our transferees from private schools which still have the unsettled balances. And please have a meeting set a meeting with the parents and remind them to communicate with the concerned private school administrator on the best way they could get the confirmation from these private school administrators kasi po hindi ho natin mapa-finalize yung ating mga transferees from private schools if they still have unsettled accounts. But if these unsettled accounts are still untouched, I mean, kung simula po nung nag-enroll sa atin ang ating mga private transferees from private schools ay nabigyan na nagkaroon na po sana ng move yung ating parents on kahit paano ay makabayad ng kunti-kunti. That the 10 months ay nababawasan. Again, the act of communicating with the private school partners would best resolve ito pong para mahituli natin yung finalization of our end of school year. Ano po mga kasama, please don't fail to contact the parents of these transferees from your end. Maraming salamat po. And again, on school readiness, I have personally sent to your PM our school readiness checklist for your self-assessment, and this shall be validated by our STOD, RRM, and the team SHN. Ito po yung the usual thing
Teka lang, open yan.
1 month before the opening of classes to ensure that to track how far have we gone
Siguro isa lang. Bakit dalawa? Ang dami.
Coming opening of classes by September 13, 2021.
Baka masyado mahal.
And may I request that just thank you for being so honest on what are really things that can be found at the school level and what are those things that are not yet in at the school level. Ano po, kasi po, that would be validated by the team. Meron din po akong blind team to validate this, whether the self-assessment would complement to the reports I have gathered from the blind team validating the school readiness checklist. Why are we doing the team's validation? This would help us also think of partners on the best thing that we could help, specifically in the curriculum implementation and other support services, which the SPO can be of great help. Ito po yung whole school readiness checklist, mga kasama. And then, on 2021, Brigada Eskwela preparations, mamaya po, the team SMN will have a meeting with your BE coordinators for the planning on the August 16 SDO kickoff, with August 9 as the regional kickoff of the Brigada Eskwela. What we agreed during our meeting with our school superintendent yesterday is we would highlight the support of Brigada Eskwela on pag-asa sa pagbasa. This would not be a duplication of what the CID has been implementing on your respectable Basa Husay program, but this is a support system to strengthen whatever we have at the school level with a target
ref namin.
clientele, the first key stage, the K to 3, with the target clientele, with the pre, during, and post implementation of the pag-asa sa pagbasa, in connection with our Brigada Eskwela kick-off. The materials will not be the materials that you have been using at the school level, but to make the program a different yet relevant avenue for our school learners to feel that reading is really uh, a way to progress life. So that's it on August 16th, SBO kickoff, God willing. Then on Action Bootcamp 2021, this is a realization of what our schools division superintendent been advising to the SEPS PNR before, that take note, doing research is a very technical thing. And if we want to produce relevant research pieces that would respond to objective 4 of your OPCRF, of utilizing relevant findings on researches and the pieces of researches, this would be the response to that. You're chosen because we have gotten the participants from you, our dear school heads. We would ensure that the research pieces from the participants on the action bootcamp, again, would address what is really the need, and that the results would be our basis for informed decision at the SBO and at the school level. Please, dear school heads, have the commitment form be signed by the school select researcher and attested by you as our school heads. Because we want to ensure that at the end of a 3-month program, it's a 3-month program, it's not the regular uh, 3-day research webinar, but it's one day, and then a breathing and a time to work, then another week for lecture, then a breathing and a time to work, so that the chunking of the target deliverables in that action bootcamp will be met at the end of the program by October 2021. So, with your help and guidance, our dear school heads, our select researchers will come up with, I think, the best pieces responding to specifically to the new normal, and getting those results as basis of our planning in the next run of the school year. And then we promise in the SDM issued for Gawad Siklab, that this would also be the awarding for Gawad Siklab. Thank you very much, our dear school heads, for participating with our STS Ma'am Merlina P. Cruz and our ASTS Sir Earl. Ito po yung ating mga panalo. Okay po, palakpakan po natin si Ma'am Daisy T. Ipurong, Best Implementer Makajos sa SJTM Heights National High School. Congratulations po. Yan po yung inyong certificate. Then, thank you po, Ma'am Daisy Ipurong din on nakakalikasan. Congratulations po. Congratulations po. And then, Ma'am Annie Joaquin, Best Implementer Makatao, Paradise Farms National High School. Sana po paki-on yung camera, Ma'am. Congratulations po. Salamat po sa inyo. And then, we have Ma'am Wilma Aquino, Best Implementer Makapansa, sa Pangtalay National High School. Congratulations po. Ma'am Wilma. Yan po. Ang ating pong national na awardee nagkaroon po ng July 19 Google Meet panel interview po ang SSG po ng ating Sapampalay National High School at 3 po ang kinuha on that category at isa po ang ating Sapampalay National High School. So congratulations po. We are just waiting for the place kung tayo ay first place, second place, and third place. Pero feel ko po first place tayo with the project initiated by the SSG. Thank you po, Mo Wilma. Congratulations po. Salamat, ma'am. Ito din po ang sa ating SSG po, si Ma'am Hana. Ito po yung in-interview ng ating National Gawad Siklab Team last July 19. Siya po yon, si Ma'am Hana. Sabi, extend our gratitude to SSG President Ma'am Hana. And then, ito po for Heights pa rin, SJDM Heights, Sir Rodolfo J. Elmida, Ma'am Daisy, sabi na lang po.
Yes po, ma'am.
Apo. And then again, Ma'am Annie Joaquin as SSG School Head Recognition Awards of Paradise Farms National High School. Ma'am Annie, pa-on ulit po ang camera. Congratulations po.
Salamat po.
And then Sir Joel Camero on Gulayan sa Paaralan, which should be best represented by our EPS, Ma'am Sir Senen Jane Als, Supervisor of Citrus National High School. Yan po. And then, again, si Ma'am Annie Joaquin on Best KT Implementer. Congratulations po ulit, Ma'am Annie. Yan po. Thank you. And then, we have Ma'am Margie as our YF po. Yan po. And then, Sir Francis, Most Outstanding ESO Implementer. Congratulations po, Sir Francis. Apo. And then, Ma'am Rene Rose R. Sahuda as Best Implementer, Makatao.
Thank you po, Ma'am.
Elementary School, pa-on po ang camera natin. Congratulations po. Thank you po. And also from DDH, si Rich Keisha Solomon. Congratulations po. And the most outstanding SSG advisor, si Sir Richard Sandoval of Minuyan EF. From Ma'am Zenny, yan po. And then Sir Francis pa rin po on makakalikasan. Congratulations po, Sir Francis. Have your camera on. Yan po.
Po, ma'am.
And again, from Tungkong Mangga, John Francis D. Sobreviga, for the information of everyone, our SCSO regional winner was selected by the Save the Children as the regional entry for the Save the Children National Campaign. So thanks po. Sir Arnold Bukag, please take charge po. Thank you. And we have also from Tungkong Mangga as our YESO teacher advisor, Ma'am Herlita Disu. Apo. And Ma'am Flor de Liza Limon, GPP Best Implementer, Bagong Buhay Age Elementary School. Congratulations po, Dr. Flor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you po. And then on Friday, our dear elementary school heads, we shall have our school-based feeding program SDO awarding. That should be aired via DepEd CSJDM FB page on July 30, 2021, 9 a.m. Please, I am inviting everyone to please witness the grant. Telling you the grant school-based feeding program SDO awarding. Why did I describe it as grant? Because of all the efforts you have shared in the best implementation of the program. We made it beneficial to our 22,808 beneficiaries in 2020 school-based feeding program. Maraming salamat po mga kasama po. Ano po? Thank you po. Please po ha, don't fail to watch specifically those who participated in the search for the National School-Based Feeding Program. We're done with the evaluation and we have selected the top 5 public elementary school in the SBFP, and based on the continuous monitoring of our school health team, we shall be awarding also the best practices in the 35 schools that we had seen in the SBFP implementation. So thank you for that, mga kasama po. Don't forget, July 30, 2021, 9 a.m. via DepEd CSDDM FB page. Then the database, this would be shared to our to Ma'am Merle and Sir El and our CID +1 from the PSDS, who shall get the access, so that the data that we get from the schools will not be repeatedly be asked. So again, eliminate stress na rin po para sa ating lahat. So yung pong mga data po natin nakuha sa field, we made it into Google Drive with different for example po, the program, the performance indicators, the approved, the ETP, the SBM level of practice from 2018 to 2021, uploaded po, the different DepEd orders po, dito po natin siya nilalagay. And this database would also be shared to the President of PESPA and PASPA para po makita po natin yung mga data na yan. Ano po, again, this is an access to the data that we get from schools para po happy lahat. Hindi na po tayo na-stress ng paulit-ulit po ng mga datang hinihingi sa field. Dito po natin siya nakalagay. And then, sharing with you the general SMEA observation, thanking everyone again for the great presentations you have had last leg of June and the first 2 days of July 1 and 2. With the School Heads Office, CRF, as our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent mentioned minutes back, that our targets should be set. This is one of the suggestions we said on those who are on board, that before you do the example, the SMEA set targets. For example, in the CRA number 1, objective 1, it's leading your people on communicating the plans. Have a target. How many meetings would you do in the first quarter? And that is your target. Example, you targeted 5 meetings across stakeholders. So that's your target. And your performance indicators would be number of meetings held, number of meetings conducted, number of plans reported to stakeholders. So again, targets should be set. Now, with the training of teachers, in your AIP, you can count the activities you have set in your AIP as your targets for activities. You may ask, Ma'am, what about the division initiated? I have seen some of the annual implementation plan, which included actually the division initiated activities in their plan. So that should be counted. But for example, yung mga plans na ngayon nyo pa lang ginagawa, that should be on the remarks. Because hindi mo naman sinama yun sa target ninyo, our dear school heads. So again, ilang module ang, again, remember during our virtual TA sa inyo po, we remind you the example, ilan ang teachers po natin who can, example, 165 teachers can produce SLMs. Then, the 65 teachers per quarter, can they do 1? And if that is 65, so we expect 65 SLM per quarter. And you have it on the second, third, and fourth in the run. Again, the setting of targets will be based on the decision you made with your school PMT para po hindi gumagalaw yung ating mga targets across quarters. Okay po? Then, alignment of activities. Again, this should be based on approved AIP. Look, again, the mother plan we have is your school improvement plan and your annual implementation plan. The AIP should explicitly tell all what activities do you plan annually for your school. And bilangin niyo po again, as I have said, first quarter, January, February, March, ilan ang mga na-include niyo pong activities doon. Then April, May, June, activities ulit. Then the next until third and fourth quarter. Now, may mga activities po that hindi po natin nagawa on the second quarter. Bawal po bang i-move? That's why we could have the adjustment. Pero po, upon movement, upon the scheduling of the activity, meron po kayong ilalagay dun sa remarks na the rescheduling was due to quarantine of some personnel like that, or overlapping of activities, SDO and the regional level that are really happening naman na may sinet po tayo, but then we have the priority from the regional office and we need to move the implementation of that training down in reference to the current RO or CO implemented activities. Okay po. Again, yung mga story behind po, doon natin siya ilalagay sa remarks. Example, why did you achieve the 100% of those activities? There have been mechanisms that you have done at the school level. Have the people who would read the document know mga ginagawa ng mga school na to. Then, have it shared in the remarks. Then, on writing our performance indicators, its number of teachers trained, as we have said during the SMEA, number of reports submitted, or for example, if the task ay hindi ho natin mabibilang, example, we can determine yet the number of communications we receive. So, lalagay niyo po yung percentage doon. Example, 100% of the communications responded. Di naman natin alam kung ilang communications ang matatanggap natin sa loob ng isang quarter. So, that's how we set yung performance indicators. But then, if we can count number of trainings, number of teachers, number of professional networks, we tag for partnership, number of reports, hindi po natin yung number. Or for example, you have GCs, number of GCs per class na nabibilang naman, have it done by writing the number as your performance indicators. Please do not write what we expect as your MOVs. Why do we use the number here in the SMEA? Para po matrack natin kung nakaka-achieve ba tayo. And yung number of teachers trained na yun, dito yun, after the performance indicators, ito po yung MOVs nyo naman na anong mga training naman na binigay ninyo for our teachers para na-achieve natin yung number of teachers trained na yun. Then, also check your CRA and objective. My dear school heads, always ask this question. Did the set activity or activities respond to the objective per CRA? Example, I have learned this in the evaluation of the SMEA na sabi po ni, I remember, Ma'am Matros, Dr. Matros, Chief of the PPRD, telling us, look at the verb of the objective. Example, lead the communication. How do you lead? What are the mechanisms you have been doing to lead your people in communicating the plans? So you check that. At the school head level, you approve, you implement the plan upon the approval of our school's division superintendent. That's That's how we set it, we say it. Then, ito po yun. Doon po sa binigay po nating, forward ko po uli in your GC, mga dear school heads, ito pong example natin on school leadership, Objective 1 LED. Ito yung sinasabi ko po kanina, the number of SGC as our performance indicators or number of plans reported. How many plans do you have? The PLCP, the annual implementation plan, and then you have that CAD. So ito po yun, agenda and part of the MOVs. Yan po siya. On CRA 1 pa rin, on LED, the school personnel in designing the MNE plan, SMEA reports first and fourth quarter. Tayo po, in the last 2020, we have only one SMEA report, but in the coming years, first to fourth quarter na po. Tanong ko po, hahanapan po ba namin kayo? Ma'am, nasaan po ang SMEA reports niyo po ng first to fourth? Hindi po, kasi nagawa natin siya last June at isahan na lang po ang ginawa namin. What I'm telling you, my dear school heads, hindi naman po namin kayo hahanapan ng hindi po namin inano po sa inyo, ginawa. Okay po. Next, also on CRA 1, Objective 3, LED personnel, ito po yung binanggit ko kanina, then capacitated school personnel in managing school data. This would tell again on the performance indicator in connection with your list. Ito po yon mga anak. Ayan po ano. And then CRA 1, Objective 4, ito po yung pinag-usapan natin na all your liquidation reports, yung mga expenses ninyo on MOOE, dito po natin siya ilalagay. The number of POWs, dito po natin siya yung mga with costing of all POWs per repair you have where you use your MOOE for minor repair. And then CRA 2, Objective 1, learning environment po ito, on implemented school health protocols, so yung mga okay sa DepEd po natin, dito po natin siya ilalagay, yung mga plans natin. And then maintenance of school, di po ba kanina sa objective number 4 ng CRA 1, you have your program of work. So yun, yung mga proof of repairs natin, that would lead to the maintenance of healthy environment for improved learning outcomes. Dito po natin siya ilalagay. Objective number 3, on curriculum naman po ito, instructional leadership, sorry po, ano kalim po ito din, CRA 2 pa rin po ito. The RRM plan po ito, nakita niyo po, there is a separate objective for the RRM. Why? Because this should prepare our schools na again, whether it's man-made or nature-made po, dito po natin siya ilalagay. CRA 2 po ito. Sorry po, CRA 2, Objective 3. CRA 3, Instructional Leadership is led K-12 implementation. So ito po yon. Now tanong, ma'am, wala po kaming SPED, wala din po kaming madrasa, wala. Pero po, you have led your people in the K-12 implementation. So ito nyo po yun ilalagay. Those who have programs on SPED, SS, ito po siya. Sana po may database din po kayo ng enrollees as part of your MOBs. Then, CRA 2, CRA 3, Objective 2, Technical Assistance. Look at that. Lahat po ng mga training natin on technical assistance, specifically on TA na ginawa in the provision of CAP build on alternative delivery modalities. Dito po natin siya ilalagay ng mga kasama because yung CAP build po natin ay one of the mechanisms is through capacity building. So, yan po yun. Yan po natin siya ilalagay. CRA 3, Objective 4, ito po yung binabanggit. Paano kung walang research? Diba? Does it mean that hindi ho kayo magkakaroon ng puntos dito? That's why results of the research should be shared. Ito po siya. May mga reports po kayo ng interventions na sa SLMs, may analysis po kayo na ano bang nangyari sa delivering ko, ano ba yung did it hit my target? That can be an evidence para po dun sa as a reliable source to facilitate your decision, which is relevant to support curriculum. Okay po? Then craft for human resource, ito po yung mga initiated professional networks. Yan po, proof of attendance po ng ating mga school, and then kung may data po tayo on learning LND, nagawa po tayo ng threads, di po ba mga kasama, dito po natin siya ilalagay. And then also on CRA 2 of CRA 4, CRA 4 objective 2, performance management. You have your IPCRF reports, seen school heads doing their mid-year IPCRF. Then please do not forget the performance monitoring and feedback forms, which is helpful for your mid-year para po ma-assist natin yung mga teachers natin on how far they could progress in the entire year. Kasi dito rin po yung ESAT natin and IPD. Then, since we expect that our teachers will attend to different professional networks, yun po yung objective 1, tapos po na implement po natin mabuti ang performance management system, at hindi po yung school rewards. Again, that should run across ito po sa ating mga stakeholders, including internal and external stakeholders po. But then again, have this memorandized through a school memo. Ano po? And other ways of virtual appreciation the efforts of our stakeholders, learners, parents, teachers, non-teaching staff. Okay po? And on CRA 5, partnership and linkages, all organizations of the school level, PTA, dito po natin siya ilalagay. Reports, activities they have done. Dito po natin sila ilalagay. And then, sa objective 2 naman, what are the platforms that you use? You have your GC, we have your official school FB page. So, yun po yun. Ito po natin siya ilalagay. So, and the last one is the initiated partnership with partners. So, again, we expect that you have updated list of partners and the proof of donations from stakeholders together with the progress report that you have been sending, or gratitude letter that you have been sending to your respective partners at the school level. Okay po? So, yun po, for Okay sa DepEd, mga kasama, this is a one-week celebration for Okay sa DepEd, but then in the previous years, we shall be done with learners. Every July po ito, kaya lang po, bakasyon na po ng ating mga bata, and then dun po sa recent meeting we had with the SHN yesterday after our morning engagement with the School Division Superintendent, Ma'am Mert, nagkaroon po kami uli ng sa hapon meeting, and then based on the SHM po, kailangan po natin na with the strong participation of the learners, because the implementation of Okay sa DepEd is theory to practice at the very homes of our learners. So ito po yung mga nakalag po sa ating plans. May spoken poetry po tayo. May awarding po tayo ng ARH infomercial contest. Then mag-re-event po tayo din uli with the wins on how we could get the 3-star approach, with only San Roque as one school who has that. And the rest is 0-star pa rin po because of the warming reports na ito po ay napunta na po in the community level. And these are our plans for Okay sa DepEd. And before that 1 week, meron po tayong ipi-play nito at the DepEd. Kayo po, ginagawa po natin ito yung it's an adverb, it's a teaser for Okay sa DepEd activities. So that it's like a trailer na our people would be excited for the welcoming of the Okay sa DepEd program. And basically, this will be done online again, the purpose is we need to showcase transfer of juries to practice at home as the very end of okay sa DepEd. So that's all for SGOD. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Mer, Sir Earl. God bless us all. Salamat po sa pagkakataon. Salamat po sa Diyos.
Thank you, Ma'am. Any issues and concerns that you want to raise pertaining to the presentation of our SGOD Chief Education Supervisor? Please raise your hand so that the issues and concerns can be addressed. All right, noting no raised hands. Probably everything is clear. Ma'am Pai, thank you so much.
Maraming salamat po, ma'am. As always, salamat po.
All right. Now may I call on our Chief Education Supervisor for Curriculum Implementation Division, Dr. Rolando T. Sotelo.
Good morning po, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning po sa ating Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Merle, sa ating Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Erleo. Nakikita na po ba yung aking presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay po. So ito naman po yung agenda ng Curriculum Implementation Division. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Mampay, sa lahat po ng school heads na nandito rin. Magandang umaga. So, our agenda for the CID are the following. Meron po tayong general feedback on the conduct of POSY rights and checking of school forms. Learners Achievement Rating for the school year 2020-2021. The inventory of locally developed learning resources and the procurement of SLMs for the first quarter and second quarter of school year 2021-2022. So for the general feedback on the conduct of end of the school year rights, most of our schools strictly followed the scheduled time of airing and the suggested format of the program for the end of school year rights. They recognize the graduates who excel academically. So nakita po natin yung mga presentation po nila. Data Privacy Act were considered by securing parents' consent on posting learners' information and pictures. We also observed the creativity of the technical working group, of the schools. Generally, the EOSY rights among our elementary and secondary were excellently conducted. Schools that conducted EOSY rights live via StreamYard and other platforms experienced minimal connectivity issue and technical glitches resulting to non-participation of some graduates. So mayroon po tayo mga reports na ganyan dahil doon sa live na ginawa nila, nagkaroon ng problem. So all in all, maganda naman po yung ating ginawa nating mga graduation rights or end of the school year rights. Kaya nagpapasalamat po ang buong division sa ating mga paaralan for having the POSY rights successfully conducted sa ating mga schools, secondary and elementary. Okay, for the checking of forms and the reading of forms, school checking committee were organized with systematic schedule of face-to-face checking. But yes, they follow health protocols and still ongoing ang mga paaralan natin na iba, hindi pa po tapos ang checking nila. School heads physically supervise the school checking of forms. Nandun po sila. Salamat sa ating mga school heads for supervising it well. School forms were thoroughly checked to ensure 100% accuracy. For the SFCR1, meron pa lang tayong 2 schools na nagsasubmit po dito. Maybe because most of our schools are still undergoing the checking of forms. It is also observed that there are incorrect entries in the school form 10 or SF10. The corrections were made immediately. Pending LIS confirmation of transferees from private schools were experienced. Nabanggit na rin po kanina ni Ma'am Pai, ito dahil doon sa mga bayarin ng ating mga school o mga estudyante o learners who transferred from private school to our schools in the public. So, nabanggit na rin po natin kanina na some of our schools are still having the school checking of forms, hindi pa po sila tapos. So, ito po yung ating mga feedback and observation sa school checking of forms. Now, let's proceed to the next agenda. Ito po yung next agendum. Ito po yung learners average achievement rating per school level across learning areas for the school year 2020-2021. Ito po yung mga ginagather natin na data na puro minamadali po natin. Kaya pasensya na po kayo at ganun din ang instruction po sa atin ng ating regional office. Ibibigay nila ngayon after how many days. Yun yung deadline. So, ito po yung naging summary ng analysis ng mga achievement rating natin. So, the graph shows the analysis of the data that is generally for the data of learners average achievement rating per grade level across learning areas for school year 2020-2021 for elementary. So, analysis of the data shows that generally, most of our learners across grade level get the highest rating in ESP, which ranges from 85 to 30, 85.35 to 87.64, followed by MTB for grade 1 to 11, grade 1 to grade 3, which ranges from 84 to 86, 84.86 to 85.74, and Filipino from 83.22 to 85.78. Makikita rin po natin dito that in grade 1 and grade 2, they have the highest rating. This is because in science, no? This is because of the special education program or special science or SSE, Special Science Elementary Schools. So, 10 schools po yan. Kaya yung sa grade 1, 91.74 at ang grade 2, 94.14. So, mataas po yun. It is also observed that EPP in grade 4 to grade 6 has the lowest rating that ranges from 80.71 to 86.35. Followed by math across all grade levels, which ranges from 81.2 to 85.07, and English that ranges from 81.9 to 84.4. These data are verbally interpreted as satisfactory to very satisfactory. Yung standard na ginamit po natin, yung binigay ng ating region na scale. This implies that we need to continuously improve our instruction, especially in math, English, and science. Okay. For the next graph is the learner's average achievement rating for grade levels across learning area for the school year 2020 in 2021 for the junior high school. It is noticeable that learners perform best also in ESP with an average rating from 85.9 to 86.15, followed by MAPE with an average rating from 84.4 to 85.76, and AP with an average rating of 84.23 and 84.69. So further observations of the data shows that mathematics has registered the lowest rating of 82.96 to 83.11, followed by English with rating from 83.44 to 83.92, and science with an average rating from 83.9 to 84.55. The registered numerical rating are interpreted as satisfactory to very satisfactory. This could be attributed to the medium of instruction and learning difficulty of this learning area, especially that we are on distance learning modality wherein learners experience limited discussions and clarifications of the concepts with their teachers. For the next slide is the learners' average achievement rating per grade level across learning area for the school year 2020-2021 for senior high school. We categorize the subjects into course subjects, applied subjects, and specialized subjects. Kasi po, napakaraming subjects dito, we cannot really identify kung we can identify, however, napakarami po, kaya po kinaster na natin into 3 subjects category. These are the 4 subjects, applied and specialized subjects. It is observed that senior high school performs best in their specialized subject with an average rating of 85.72 in grade 11 and 88.65 in grade 12, which are interpreted as very satisfactory, followed by the 4 subjects and specialized subjects in grade 12 with an average rating of 87 and 86.62 respectively. Comparing the 2 grade levels, it is also observed that grade 12 learners perform better than the grade 11 learners. Although both are rated with BS or of verbal interpretation, no? This could be attributed to the characteristics of learners wherein matured learners are more independent in terms of learning. Kasi po, mas ang mga grade 12, mas mature na sila. So, it is expected na kahit wala na silang facilitator at home, they could learn independently. So, yun po yung ating learners average rating for our school year 2020-2021. So at this moment, we are gathering the learners classification of grades and nag-deadline po tayo bukas. So maraming salamat po sa ating mga school heads for quickly responding on our reports that are needed to be submitted to the regional office at salamat sa lahat ng suporta sa CID and for the implementation of for the effective implementation of the curriculum. Now let's proceed to the next agenda, which is the yung inventory of learning resources. Tatanggalin ko po muna ito. At i-represent ko po yung inventory. Sir Art, nakikita na ba? Okay. So ito na po yung ating inventory ng locally developed learning materials. If you notice for the SLM, nakikita ng malaki, maliit. Notice for the developed SLMs, we have 599 to date as quality assured. So nakasulat po dyan, we have 599 quality assured learning resources o SLMs contributed by different teachers of the different schools, both elementary and secondary. Nakasulat po dito yung ating mga authors and ating mga schools who have contributed to this initiative. Ayan po. So hindi ko na po sila basahin isa-isa. At makikita naman po natin, nandyan po yung ating mga schools. So, then, and then we have the last. Meron po tayong 38 na last na quality assured na. But still, we are undergoing quality assurance for the submitted learning resources. Ang nagiging problema lang po natin ay hindi po nakakabalik agad yung ating mga revised output ng ating mga authors immediately, kaya po natatagalan po tayo sa quality assure. And then we have also 29 video lessons that are being quality assured by the LR. For the ALS iPad, meron po tayong 58. And then for the summary, ito po, so SLM, 599, plus 70, video lessons 29. For Madrasa, we have 12. And ALS iPad, big books, we have 58. All in all, for the learning resources, we have 768 quality assured learning materials. For our procurement, art nakikita na? Opo, okay. So we have received 9 million budget for the procurement of learning resources or SLM for the allotted for the first quarter and second quarter. So ito po yung ating okay. Okay. Sorry po. Iba pala yung nakapresent. So ito po yung allocation po natin sa ating procurement ng ating SLM for school year 2020, for the first quarter and second quarter of school year 2021-2022. Notice that we have allocated homeroom guidance SLMs. Kasi last year, hindi po tayo nakapag-allocate ng homeroom guidance modules. This time, we have included in our procurement yung homeroom guidance module. So, ayan po. So, makikita po natin yung second quarter din dyan. Meron na rin po tayong allocation per school. So, we will just be sending this siguro sa inyo para makita nyo po yung, yung allocation per school at ito po yung matatanggap natin, no? ito naman po yung grade 7 to junior high school. So, ayan po. Meron din po tayong allocation para dun sa homeroom guidance, SLM. And then we have here the second quarter. For the senior high school, ito naman po. At naglaan din po tayo ng homeroom guidance for senior high school. So yun po yung ating allocation for the procurement of SLM for the first quarter and second quarter for the school year 2021-2022. Ngayon po, para doon sa additional na lamang po, doon sa meron po tayong procurement ng SEF for the fourth quarter at siguro this week meron kayong marireceive at ito po dapat ay sa fourth quarter din ng school year 2020-2021. However, pinakancel po natin ito noon doon sa procurement sa SEF pero naituloy pa rin po nila. Kaya po nag-deliver po sila dito sa division pero hindi namin po tinatanggap kasi po ang ating contract doon to be delivered sa ating mga schools. Kaya po maybe ngayong week or next week meron po tayong mga deliveries ng fourth quarter. Anyway, hindi naman po masisira siguro ang mga ito. So you will be using that for the next school year na lang po siguro. So, yun po ang aming concern sa ating KID and we are hoping for the teachers to support, for our school heads and teachers to support the initiatives of the CID, our Basa Husay program. Salamat sa mga suporta ninyo sa ating mga seminars conducted. Tatapos lang po yung Nihongo seminar at ang ating seminar sa science and there are upcoming seminars on that are to be conducted by the CID this coming August na naka-schedule. Marami po tayong seminars dito. At pertains to learning delivery and pedagogy. So thank you very much po sa ating lahat sa pakikinig at salamat din sa inyong mga suporta sa ating division sa mga programa natin. Maraming salamat po at mag-ingat po tayo.
Thank you, Sir Ronnie. I see the hand of Engineer Danny Casas. Go ahead, Sir Danny, you're recognized.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Sir Ronnie. I-share ko lang po yung observation na ating naganapan, na-observe during sa end of school year rise na yung mga magulang, may mga magulang po kasi mga nanghaharas. Ito po yung mga magulang na hindi makabigay ng 137 galing sa mga private schools. Na alam na po naman natin na ito po ay isang napaka-importante requirement para sa mga batang magiging computer na nangyari po dito sa San Jose del Monte na kahit po paliwanagan ay babalik ka rin ka pa. Katulad po ng nangyari sa amin na yung teacher po ay hinaharas na ipapatulog po daw kapag ang kanyang anak ay hindi nasama sa list of candidates for computers. And then, binigay na po namin yung paliwanag na dahil nga lang po sa kakulangan ng kanyang 137 o SF10 na magagaling sa private school na may utang na 12,000. Hindi pa po siya nakontento doon, nakipag-set pa po siya sa akin ng appointment At dumating naman po siya at nag-usap na po kami. Pinaliwanag ko na po siya base po sa DepEd order natin. At sa bandang huli po ay kanyang naliwanagan naman. Nagpasalamat po siya at nagpaliwanagan. Ang siste nga po ay dinala pa niya sa Office of the President. Kaya po, tumawag na rin po kay Atty. Pag-awi natin sa mga magulang na rin na nakaharas na. Sabi ni Atty., simulan nyo lang kung gusto nyo na i-report sa barangay o whatever. Kasi para po nangyayari, one process lang po. Palaging si teacher ang tinatakot, palaging si teacher ang papatulfo, palaging si teacher ang civil service, palaging papadeped. Sabi naman po ni Atty., pwede naman daw pong gawin sa ating mga magulang. So, ito po yung na-observe ko dito sa bagong paaralan na rin, na kahit na pagpaliwanagan mo na ng base sa mga DepEd orders na yan ay hindi pa rin sila naniniwala. Tumukuha po sila ng mga simpatiya sa mga kataas-taasang mga tanggapan. Thank you po.
Tama po, Sir Danny. Susulat pa sila sa mas matataas, hindi nila alam, ibabalik din po sa kung saan talaga yung pinagmulan ng complaint. So kung sa paaralan, ibabalik din yun sa paaralan. Kaya yun po yung pinaliliwanag din natin lalo sa ating mga walk-in complainants. No? But just the same, it has been a perennial issue and yung isa pa rin po, ang stand ng DepEd still stands by the issue once regarding the transferee of our status of transfer of our learners specifically from private schools to public schools. So, kapag ganun po, tama po yun, report nyo agad kay attorney para ma-advise po kung ano yung appropriate action na dapat gawin, lalo kung ganyan na ang nangyayari na nahaharas na po yung ating mga teachers or kung sino man po yung sa school personnel po natin. Pero thank you dahil napaliwanagan niyo po sila at ang maganda po kasi doon, pumunta sila sa inyo. Nakipag-usap din sila. I hope it is the same with our other schools also. Kasi totoo po yun, hindi lang iisa, hindi lang dadalawa yung complaint na tatanggap natin prior to the EOSY ceremonies that we have.
Nakipag-usap na nga sa akin, naliwanagan ko na siya, pero nagsumplong siya sa Office of the President. Ako raw mismo ang nagsabi na hindi ka-graduate yung anak niya, which is baliktad. Nang paliwanag ko sa kanya, nakakatawa, nakakaasar.
Okay. So, sumulat siya after kami yung mag-usap pala.
Okay. Nakapag-usap na po sa akin, paliwanagan ko siya, nag-thank you na nga siya. Tapos nung nagsuplong siya sa Office of the President, sinabi ko daw na gano'n. Kasi sabi niya po, yung po kasing kanyang asawa ay dating pulis na parang nagkaroon ng problema, para na-displace po yata sa trabaho. Kaya sabi niya, dinulog niya sa Office of the President, sabi daw ng tao noon, ay tutulungan siya na makabayad ng 12,000. Di mag-ilang po ako at tutulungan pala kayo. Aba, nagsulat na naman at sinabi naman ng principal na hindi ka graduate yung anak niya. Kabayag ka na po lang sinabi ko. Kaya yan, sinagot ko na nga, ma'am. Kaya natutunan ko naman doon sa ating mga dating mga director na kapag nagsulat siya ng Tagalog, sagutin mo siya ng Tagalog, kahit Pilipin, basta kahit hindi. Maraming salamat, ma'am.
Thank you. Oo. Siguro, reminder din, kapag nakikipagtulong po kayo, may meeting with the parents, lagi po kayong put it into writing. At saka may agreement bago sila aalis para magpirmahan siya. Para meron din po kayong hawak. Para kung sakali, sana hindi na mangyari uli yun, pero kung may mga ganun pangyayari sa senior po ni Sir Danny, at least kahit balik pa rin kayo, meron tayong hawak po dito.
Ma'am, parang ipaparating pang isa. Ay, kasi kahapon ay meron lumapit sa akin teacher na hindi naman daw siya mapagkatulog kasi po mini-message naman daw siya ng mga magulang ng kanyang anak. Kasi po, after the deliberation po ng honors, hindi naman nag-react po yung magulang doon sa status ng honors na na-receive ng bata. Hanggat ngayon, nag-react lang po siya nung makita niya po yung grades ng mga bata, yung the whole SF, kasi nagpamigay na po kami nung Friday. doon din nakita na yung anak niya ay bumaba from 98 to 84. Pero po sa kabuuan, yung anak po niya ay nakakuha ng with high honor. So kahapon po sa aking pagtatanong at nalaman ko naman na yung palang bata ay binigyan ng taning ng advisor para magbigay ng output ay hindi po nakarating sa tamang panahon. Alam naman po natin na kapag po ang bata ay graduating o computer na siya, kahit meron po tayong ina-adjust na panahon para makagawa po tayo ng mga grades, para po sa reading, para po sa paggawa ng program. So hindi po siya nakarating. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, ma'am, huwag ka pong matakot. Basta ipakita po natin yung mga records po kasi po tinatapos siya na sila po ay mag-asawang pulis, nanay sa tatay ay pulis, tapos civil service. Sabi ko, huwag kang matakot. Kaya sabi niya, sir, for how many years na advisor ako ngayon ako nag-counter? Sabi ko, yan talaga ang isa sa nagiging epekto ng hindi face-to-face. Nararanasan po natin yan sa ganitong sistema. Kaya magpake-ready na lang po yung inyong mga records para po if ever na may dumating na complaint, sasagutin po natin yan.
Tama, sir. Opo. Salamat po. Yes, have the documents ready. Kaya napakahalaga po na documented yung lahat ng actions natin. Thank you, Sir Danny. I see the hand of Ma'am Wilma Aquino. Ma'am Wilma, you're recognized.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, na kalimutan ko doon sa part ng OPCRF. Kasi po, ang concern ko po kasi, may head teacher po ako. Hanggang ngayon hindi po nila alam kung alin po ang gagamitin nila. Kaya gusto ko po sanang malaman ngayon, ma'am, kung ano po ang gagamitin. Nagkaroon po kasi kami ng crafting dati, pero hindi po namin alam kung na-approve na yun ang gagamitin. Kasi po kami nagkaroon din ng crafting, pero hindi po yun ang nagamit namin ngayon. Meron pong time ng panahon po ni Sir Eric Sabakan, sabi po niya, dapat daw po SBM ang mga craft. Hindi rin po namin alam po yun po ang gagamitin. Natanong po ako ngayon kasi ng head, kaya naalala ko po. Ano po ba, ma'am, yung final po na gagamitin para po sa head teacher po?
Opo. Those occupying head teacher positions who are not serving as school heads should make use of the KRA for head teacher positions. And nabanggit mo nga po, one of the KRAs there is actually SBM. Yun po ang gagamitin nila. Hindi pa po yung nagbago, ma'am.
Ma'am, pwede po makahingi ng sample po, ma'am? O yung kay Sir Tabaka po ang gagamitin?
I'm not aware kung meron pong naibigay for HP, but I remember in one of our meetings, parang January yun, interfacing of functions, nabigay ko po yung KRAs for head teacher positions.
Ma'am, parang wala po. Parang yung sa school head lang, ma'am.
Wala. Sige, ma'am. Tingnan ko po. ASDS, do you have the copy? Ay, bakit nag-leave si ASDS? Sige, hanapin ko lang po. Meron akong copy dito.
Sige, ma'am. Thank you po.
Sir Leo Glenn, you are recognized. Go ahead po.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon po. Yung concern po related sa forms, kasi po usually ang naging problem po yung sa delivery, no? Kahit po through registered mail, pero hindi po nakakarating sa mga eskwelahan. So, pwede kayang suggestion, ma'am, kung pwedeng ma-erase niyo po ito during your exec com. And pwede po kayang school to school tapos soft copy na lang, pero magkakaroon siya ng security, no? For example po, dun sa school email to another school email, pero po ang may access lang po sana ay yung registrar at po yung principal.
Okay, you're referring to the form 137 po, no? From one to another, oo. Ganito yan, sir. Kung hindi nakakarating, as long as you have the proof of the registered mail, yung LBC, walang problema. Diba ang sabi ko po sa inyo noon, you are given 3 attempts. Either via the official email address of the school, the registered mail, and the LBC. On top of that, you also make calls to them. Then, kung yung tatlo po ito, nagawa na ninyo at wala pa ring action, ang natatandaan ko po, sinabi ko sa inyo noon, to write a letter to the school division office, i-attach niyo yung tatlo na justification so that it will be SDO to SDO level. Para mas mabilis po. However, there have been instances that the originating school the teachers or the personnel of the originating school are actually coordinating with the school's division office. Kaya naibabato rin namin sa inyo yung mga requests naman ng mga transferees from other schools. But nonetheless, yung pong agreement natin noon, sulat lang po kayo para matulungan namin kayo. Kasi kung na-hand carry po or yung school to school, we cannot guarantee the security po yung sinasabi niyo, sir, kasi it is not within our control dahil sila yon. How can we be certain that what the originating school or yung receiving school, the email, I should say, the email address of the originating school or the receiving school given to us is actually legitimate or hindi, wala po tayo it's beyond our control. Medyo mahirap yun, sir.
Yes, siguro po in the future, no? Kasi nakita ko lang po, kagaya po yung sa sa DBM, di ba, ang pinag-usapan natin dito, mga finances, pero nagagawa po ng DBM and then the RPSU na isend po sa mga schools with security yung pong mga SARO, yung pong mga sealed envelope, yung pong mga pay sum, para hindi na po pumupunta physically doon sa area. So, nagagawa po nila yon through that system. Baka pwede po in the future magawa rin po sa DepEd. Thank you po.
Sir, i-note din po para mai-feedback din po during the planning officers conference at the central office. Ma'am Pai, paki-note na rin po yun para mai-bring out po natin sa planning conference.
Yes po, ma'am. Apo.
Okay, good afternoon.
Thank you po. Apo. Ma'am Tess, Maria Teresa de la Cruz, you're recognized, ma'am.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. Ma'am, ask ko lang po yung sa IPCRF po ng mga AO po, tsaka ni Kuya Vic, wala po akong happy para ma-rate. Paano po namin sila ma-rate? Kay Kuya Vic po, na nag-transfer sa amin from DO po, na guard po namin ngayon, tsaka yung mga AO po na nasa amin ngayon. Yung soft copy po, ma'am, para ma-rate po namin sila. Salamat po.
Actually, you have the functions and job descriptions of these people. Pero reading beyond the lines, parang ang gusto po ninyo, kung ano yung ginawa natin sa OPCRF ninyo, ganun din yung gagawin namin na ibigay na lang namin sa inyo. Parang ganun ang naiintindihan ko sa mga request ninyo. However, pwede po yun para magkaroon tayo ng uniform o IPCR para sa ating mga personnel. Kaya lang po, hindi siya kakayanin ng minsanan. But then, if you are asking for the KRAs of these people, then you have been provided with their job description per DepEd compendium given by DepEd Central Office po. If you do not have the copy of that, then please request through our personnel section po.
Sige po, ma'am. Thank you po. Salamat po.
Alright? Yes, go ahead.
Yung tanong po lang yung weight ng first CRA ng school head, hindi po yun 30%, kundi 25% lang po talaga. Kasi pag total po, kung 30% po yun, 105% na po yung total.
Okay, that was the issue raised by Ma'am Wilma Aquino earlier na ASBS.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I hope that's clear now, Ma'am Wilma.
Thank you, sir. Okay na po. Yan na lang po sa HC ang hinihintay ko po. Salamat po.
Okay, thank you sa ASBS. Wala na ako nakikita nakataas ang kamay. So, probably, wala na po tayong issues and concerns for our CID and SUOD. So, thank you. It's already 12:10. may I declare a recess and lunch break, and we shall resume at 1 o'clock. Pwede po? Let's resume at 1 o'clock.
Ayun. Break pa lang, lunch break pa lang, di pa po tayo na, parang kalahati pa lang po nung mga ng mga agenda. So, ang dami pa po gagawin. Ang dami pang maririnig kaming mga agenda po. So, 3 hours and 30 minutes for the first part. So, ngayon po ay lunchtime. So, ayan. Siguro magluluto lang muna ako, pero tuloy-tuloy po, anuhin natin, i-play natin si Francis Aday. Francis Aday, pa-play po natin para naman kahit papano naman po you are compensated naman sa pagpunta nyo dito sa ating humble live stream. Ayan, Francis Aday. Grabe po no? Nabusog ako sa dami ng gagawin. Ang daming trabaho po na gagawin. Ayun, slow motion video editing. Paano daw gawin? May background pero wala siyang parang wala namang explanation paano gagawin. Paano po gagawin? Sir Francis Aday. Labas pa rin pala. Part 1. So, i-end po natin to para mamaya sa part 2. Para makakain din si Lola, mapahinga yung ating mga gadgets. 1 o'clock, magre-resume po. Okay. Pagkatapos po nito, sasabi.
gusto niyo sopas.
Ay, sige, may niluto ka. May niluto ka.
Kailan kayo, ante?
Ha?
Wala akong extra budget.
Share ako